Welcome to today's watch along. Today it is Burnley headed from Lancaster to Leicester to take on Leicester City. Two teams looking to reverse some poor fortunes that have been going on in the league, but who will take all 3 points today? I hope you'll join us for the watch along.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, hello, welcome to today's watch along. Good morning from Canada from myself. My name is Elijah. I'll be your host for today. And let's get right into things with some hellos. Hello, Fee. And of course, we can also talk about some of the other results that have gone on in the league today. So Manchester City taking an away win against Chelsea and Aston Villa beating Manchester United 1-0. We'll actually be talking about that a little bit more in depth as well after I get the link out to all of you, because there were some refereeing decisions in that match that might have mirrored a little bit of what we saw in the Brighton game. So would love to get some of your views on that. So definitely get your views and your comments in. Lewis, great to see you. Lovely to have you be tuning in from Dubai. And Nick, no excuses now. Matters has been dropped and 3 points is a must. Absolutely. So I think that is a great place for us to come right in and discuss is this game a must win? Like I mentioned off the top, this is a game where two teams are going to be looking to reverse some rather poor fortunes in the league lately. Leicester City left sitting in mid-table. Burnley currently in the relegation zone. So Leicester trying to get out of 12th, Burnley trying to get out of 19th. And both teams really need 3 points to get back into the places that they want to get into in the league. And of course, Leicester coming off of a lot of very tight results with some very lackluster first halves. So at what point are we going to start looking at tactics and things that need to change within the team if we do not take all 3 points? And yes, Nick saying 100% must win. We don't want to fall behind. Of course, one of the things that we were discussing earlier in the season, even in preseason, was the fact that Champions League is really the place where Leicester need to be aiming towards. And results like this are where you really need to pick up 3 points to avoid just completely falling behind the rest of the pack. Definitely a big game today. Carmen, good to see you tuning in. I am doing well. And yes, so let's actually get into a little bit of a discussion about some of the decisions that have gone up against Leicester City more recently. So the goal that was scored in Aston Villa versus Manchester United today, if you might not have watched that match, very, very similar to what we saw between Leicester City and Brighton in the 2 goals that were disallowed. Tyrone Mings in an offside position standing in front of David De Gea. However, this time the goal was given. So we are seeing that little bit of ambiguity in the rules. The commentators on that match even called out the Leicester versus Brighton game as an example as to why that could have been on shaky grounds, at least for that goal. So could we even see Leicester trying to play things a little bit safer this time around, just to avoid some of those unlucky decisions that have been going against us? Would definitely love to hear some of your views on that. Kane, we can definitely discuss a little bit of the team news. I do have that put together for us. And I think it is a lineup that a lot of people are going to like to see. So let's kick right off with the Leicester City team news. Let me get that comment off screen. So Leicester going in with a 4-3-3, just as we did against Brighton, but one major change to the starting lineup. So as we go in from the back, we start with Kasper Schmeichel in goal, and across the back four, we have Ryan Bertrand, Yannick Vestergaard, Çağlar Söyüncü, and Ricardo Pereira. A middle three of Boubakary Soumare, Wilfred Ndidi, and Yuri Tielemans, and a front three of Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy, and Ademola Lookman puts James Maddison on the bench after a few mediocre performances from him. So just as Ben Koss was saying, Lookman has definitely deserved this start. He has been very good coming off the bench, and I'm hoping that this will give us some of that impetus that we need to have a very good first half. Would love to get some of your thoughts on that, so please get your comments in. And I will also put up just before I put up the Burnley lineup, we can also quickly discuss the Leicester City bench. Johnny Evans on the bench for this match alongside Maddison, Mark Albrighton, Ward, Iheanacho, Perez, back from his red card suspension, starts this game on the bench. Dewsbury Hall, Timmy Castagna, and Patson Daka. One of the things that we were discussing among ourselves on the Leicester Fan TV side of things was that I know a lot of people have really wanted to see Iheanacho and Daka start to get some more starts. However, one of the things that makes me very optimistic is the fact that with them on the bench and a front three, I think we really could see some of those players being those sorts of power aces up our sleeves that we need for some second half push if we find ourselves still level or a goal down. Those sort of Mark Albrighton type figures who can marshal the other players around them. Of course, we know about the speed that Iheanacho brings to a front line, so he could be a good substitution for Vardy. Daka, just a very skilled player, very good in front of goal. He could be a replacement for really either of the two on the wings, either Lookman or Barnes. So what I think that gives us is some really good depth, even if they might not be getting the start that a lot of fans have been wanting to see. Mick Hewitt with some comments on the back line here. Would sooner have Castagna or Thomas for Ryan Bertrand. That is one thing that I actually hadn't noticed as I was writing up this team, is that Thomas not on the sheet at all. So might be interesting to see if he might have maybe picked up a small injury in training. Ryan Bertrand has been pretty good in terms of being able to get behind players before they get a chance to shoot. However, one of the things that we did definitely see over the last few matches was we were giving too many chances to the opposition. So if I'd love to hear your views if you think maybe Castagna would be more of a player who can stop play before the shot is taken, rather than a player who's good at blocking shots like Ryan Bertrand. Nigel Gossage, Brendan said he wanted Soumare to be more of an attacking midfielder. This should be his role today. I'll be interested to see that, because a lot of the stuff that I had been seeing, I had imagined that Soumare was more of a defensive midfielder versus some of the other signings that we've made. So to see him playing up front, I will be very excited to see how he settles into that. Mark Townsend, need to play Nacho and Vardy. They are very, very good in a front two. So perhaps, again, we might be able to see some formation changes if things are not going our way in the first half. We know that Lookman plays well on the wing. We might revert to a 4-4-2, and perhaps we could see Barnes come off for Iheanacho for a front two. Bertrand gives a threat from set pieces with Matters playing poop by Nick Moore. Definitely. Again, I made a lot of excuses for James Maddison over the last few games, but I think at this point it just has to be called a poor run of form. So I'm really hoping that with the way that we've seen the game change when Ademola Lookman comes onto the field, I'm hoping that we can see that right out of the gate today, because that is one of the things that Leicester City really needs to pick up on with these matches, is the fact that we just have been too pedestrian in the first half, and we let other teams sort of get settled, get into their shape, and we need to hit Burnley right out of the gate. They are a physical team, they are a solid team, and we need to make them shaky from the start. Michael up bright and early out west. Lookman will cut inside and play behind Vardy. This team is going to be tough. I am very excited to see how this team is going to play. Lookman for Maddison is the exact change that I would have made as well. So definitely agreed there. A lot of people saying that Lookman deserves the start. Good to see Soumare and Lookman starting. So with that, let's jump over to Burnley's starting 11. So Burnley playing a solid 4-4-2 formation. Nick Pope starts in goal, and a back four of Taylor, me, Tarkowski, and Lowton. A new start for Maxwell Cornet, the Ivorian player, who will start in left midfield. The other midfielders joining him will be Brownhill, Westwood, and McNeil, and a front two of Chris Wood and Mate Vidra. As well, on their bench, they will be playing Cork, Goodmanson, Barnes, Hennessy, Lennon, Collins, Eric Peters, Phil Bardsley, and Thomas. Yes, Michael, one of the things that we were noticing was a lot of players from the UK and Ireland, of course. One of the things that Burnley is known for in their lineup. So it is nice to see a few more international players coming in. Goodmanson did get dropped from the lineup, so I believe it's the same number of players that we saw before. A lot of respect for Nick Pope. definitely impressive to say from the fact that when he's playing for a team like Burnley that normally don't finish too far outside of the bottom third in the Premier League, to still be getting eyes and call-ups, rumors at least, for the England team really says a lot to just the raw skill that he has as a player. And I don't think any of us are going to be taking this match for granted. This is a solid Burnley team playing in a very solid formation. Of course, we know Sean Dyche loves a very traditional 4-4-2 formation. He's not playing the 1 through 11 like he has in the past, but still a very solid traditional lineup. Steve James, good afternoon. We have a good out this afternoon and can see a 4-0 win. That's very optimistic, but I love to hear that optimism. So with that, let's talk some score predictions. I would love to see what some people think. Of course, like we were saying, Leicester City have not been on the best form lately, but of course, neither have Burnley. So this is a good chance for, I think both teams are going to be coming out of this out of the gate. They want to hit each other hard. I don't think either team is going to get a clean sheet today. I'm going to lean on the side of a 2-1 Leicester City win. But we are getting some predictions coming in the chat. This is Luca's Life coming in with a 3-0 Leicester City win. And Avar Goalkeepers coming in with a 3-1 Leicester City win. With that, I'm going to put the link into the chat before I get the next few score predictions up. If you have the opportunity, I would love to have you join me so that we can talk a little bit more about some of the discussions that we've had since the watch along has started, and I would love to get your views up and on camera. So please click on, would love to hear from you. Fee coming in, another 3-0 prediction. Z coming in with a 1-1. Michael thinks Chris Wood would score. I think that's a very good shout. Vidra, of course, also a very dangerous player up front. I think it could be a 50-50 chance. If I think Burnley are going to get one goal, I think it could go either way, which one will get it. Kane Leonard, 4-1 for Leicester City. Ben Koss said 2-0 up by the first half, but by full time 3-1. I would love to be 2-0 up by halftime, because that would be a very positive first half, something that we haven't seen from Leicester City really yet this season. And Santosh saying Wood always scores against us, so 2-1 Leicester. A couple more predictions coming in. Nick Moore thinks it will be a 2-1 win. LCFC fan 4-1 to Leicester City. Yeah, I think a lot of us are going to be hoping for some really good results. Rebo, 1-0 Burnley first half, but then we score 2-1. Honestly, this could very well, it would be very Leicester for that to be how this match ends up playing out. Another mediocre first half, but then, of course, we always come out of the second half better. We don't know what Brendan Rodgers' halftime treatment is, but maybe they'll get a little bit of the Fergie treatment. Nick Moore saying Vardy as the first scorer, and LCFC fans saying a Vardy hat trick. So Jamie Vardy has been playing quite well in the team lately. He's been getting back on the score sheet, sort of shaking off the funk that he was having towards the end of last season. We can also talk a little bit about some of the matches earlier on the season. How do you feel about Villa beating Manchester United? So I did get the chance to watch a little bit of that match, and I would say that it's the Premier League. Anyone can beat anyone in this league, really. There's really not a lot of matches that you can come in with 100% certainty that someone is going to take it over someone else. It's so unpredictable, and it's one of the things that really is the best about the Premier League is that unpredictability. So I think very impressive from Aston Villa. They were the better team through the entire match that I saw, and they deserved the win, but I don't think that it's hugely surprising because anything can happen in this league. Simon Hodgett saying a 4-0 win for Leicester City with an Ademola Lookman hat trick. And Rebo, disappointed not to see Kelechi Iheanacho starting. So we did have a little bit of conversation around that. I will pull the Leicester City lineup back up as we discuss that. So one of the things that I'm hoping to see from Iheanacho is that because we're playing with a front three, that gives us a lot of opportunity for change in the front line. Should things not be going our way, should we be under pressure, maybe we only have a narrow lead or could even be tied or losing at the end of the first half. Nacho and Daka are the kind of players that I would love to bring in off the bench. Obviously, Nacho is an amazing player and he deserves some start time. But I don't think that it's really a slight against him to have him on the bench, because I could easily see him coming on in this game and being that player who can bring fresh legs and fresh pace, sort of an ace up the sleeve for Leicester City in the front line. LCFC fans saying that I think it's tactical changes. A lot of us have been saying that we need to see some tactical changes from Leicester City due to the form that we have been seeing in those last few matches. Again, a lot of us have been talking about the sort of pedestrian nature of our play, especially in the midfield and the back line, where we think that we could start getting some momentum going, and then we end up playing some back and forth passing around the back. So I would love to see, especially, again, playing with more players up front, that we might be trying to get faster build-up play, again, to catch Burnley off guard. They have a very solid formation in that 4-4-2, and I don't think that they're going to really let us pass the ball around too much in that back line, because that front four can easily play a high press. They're going to be playing off of the weakness of players like Soyuncu. If he's not marshaled by a player like Vestergaard, he has been known to make some mistakes with some of his passes in the back line. And when we're that reliant on those back line passes, it always becomes worrisome around those sorts of things. Z, thank you so much for that comment. It's always a pleasure to host these and get a chance to sort of be right in there with the Leicester City community. And I always like to say that these watch-alongs would not happen without all of you tuning in to watch, getting your views in, coming in on camera. So just as much as you're saying that it's great from me, thank you so much for joining as well. Ross, I'm seeing you joining in. If you want to give me a quick thumbs up, I will be happy to add you on. How's it going, Ross?
Yeah, I am a player with Charlie, hence the reason why.
Oh, Ross, your audio is a little bit. You might want to check mic settings.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. How's everyone doing?
I think we're all doing well. I think we're all happy to see Lookman in the lineup. We're all feeling a little bit more refreshed. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we are. Just going to have a quick look at the team now, actually. Is it same team, but with instead of Madison, it's Lookman?
That is exactly it. I can pull that lineup back up. We're playing same formation and exact same players except for Lookman and for Madison.
Good. Because obviously yesterday, Reedy was, I don't know if you watched yesterday's show, but Reedy was like, if Madison was in the squad and not Lookman, he was going to do a power walk to the Blues bar. It was going to do a power walk like Thanos. So no rapids today, Nick. No, I'm taking. I'm taking Charlie's at player with my nephews at the minute. So no slides today. No. So yeah, it'll be a tough game today. I would do the watch along, but it'd be hectic in here. So that's why I'll come on now.
Totally fair. Always great to have you joining us. And definitely if you get the chance to join us at half or full time.
Prediction will be 2-1.
Score prediction.
Yep, Leicester 2-1. I think they'll score first. We all know who will score. I'm not saying it. Oh, what a song. Sorry, did it back on. But the goal scorers Vardy and Lookman, I think. So I've only just got here, to be fair. God, everyone's talking about me. No, it's about Leicester today. Must win today. Must win. But yeah, enjoy the watch along again.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Ross. I'll let you go. And Jamie, if you want to give me a quick thumbs up, I'll add you on. How's it going?
How are you, Elijah? How are you? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm probably feeling much cooler than you are down in Spain. How's the weather?
Quite nice, to be honest.
Looking lovely. So how are you feeling coming into this match?
I'm confident today. I must admit, I'm confident. I've done a few shows. I'm going for a 3-0 win. That's what I'm going for. It's quite an attacking lineup. I think it's a 4-3-3 with Lookman and Barnes and Vardy up front. I'd like to see Nacho play, but it's quite exciting. That is big, strong lineup, a big, quick lineup at the front. It's what we want to see. Should be loads of goals today. Hopefully, they're all in back of Burnley's net.
Totally. You know what? I'm very when you get this optimistic, it makes me all the more optimistic as well. So definitely a bold score prediction. I was saying I think that we'll probably concede one, but I will take a 3-0 any day of the week.
We need to win. Is this class as a 6-point mid-table clash? Is it a 6-pointer in the middle of mid-table? We need it.
Yeah, I think honestly both teams are really going to come out of the gate hard because, of course, Leicester needed to get back up into those European places. We're definitely underperforming so far, but Burnley already finding themselves in a relegation scrap.
They are. They've got 1 point from the first 5 games, is it? We've got 6, yes. So we need to get a win, don't we? We need to score an early goal and put the pressure on them right from the very beginning.
Absolutely. And I think a front 3 is exactly how we can do that. We've been playing a lot of games that sort of 4-2-3-1, 4-3-2-1, leaving Vardy alone up front. We don't get that kind of pressure. And I think a lot of us, when we discuss internally, we hate that sort of pass around in the back. Everything moves backwards the moment we get pressure. I think we're going to see something different today.
I think we are. I mean, I've only just joined. What are people saying about Nacho not starting? Are they a bit disappointed or have they been enough?
Yeah. There's been some disappointment about Nacho not starting, and I think that's totally justified. I was saying from my thought, I like having him on the bench with this lineup because I see him as sort of the Albrighton figure up front. If we're not performing the way that we need to, he's the player that can come on at halftime, 50th minute, and marshal that front line. He'll add fresh legs. He'll add pace. He'll add creativity. And that is what we'll need to just change the game.
Yes, definitely. And I haven't seen anything. Johnny Evans, I know he's on the bench. Is he just not fit enough or has he had a bit of reaction to the game?
Well, some commenters have been coming in saying that he should have started over Soonchu. I would imagine it's probably something to do with his heel. I know that it's been sort of flaring up in and out. I would imagine it's probably not bad enough for him to be dropped from the squad, obviously, but I think we probably wouldn't want to give him a full 90 minutes in case that might aggravate something worse.
Yes. Right, Elijah, I've got to go because I need to do some work because people are coming in to watch the game. So, like I say, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. Come and watch me. A bit early in the morning for you tomorrow, Elijah, at 9:30 UK time. I think you might still be in bed, but come and watch me tomorrow morning in the Aftermath show, 9:30 UK time. And come on, you foxes.
Thanks, Jamie. All right, and that's actually leading us right up towards kickoff. The players are just taking to the field at the moment, lining up in the tunnel. Burnley are going to be playing in their white away strip, and Leicester, of course, are going to be playing in the blue camo. Natasha, I am just seeing those comments coming in. I don't remember somebody by that name, to be perfectly frank. A Facebook user coming in saying, Cags is class, but needs to stop playing out the back. Yeah, I'll admit that I like Cags a lot. He's a player with a lot of promise. He's still relatively young and incredibly solid for a center back of his age, but he's definitely the weak point of our back four because of his relative inexperience, and he can sometimes make those mistakes when he doesn't have a center back partner like Johnny Evans who can sort of help marshal him down. It does get worrying when he's the player being relied on to play the ball out the back. His distribution play, I would say, isn't quite as bad as maybe Kasper Schmeichel's, but it hasn't been great. But everything starts over at the 0-minute mark, so hopefully we'll see something a little bit better from him. When we were in League One playing Hereford away, I could never imagine we would have an American fan. I love it. Keep up the good work. Just going to say, you don't just have an American, because Michael is the American here. I'm a Canadian, so you got an even bigger worldwide reach. I know I just sound like an American. But absolutely, I sort of got into Leicester City from a big distance. I didn't really follow them too much right around the League One era because I saw a magazine article about it, and I just loved a team that was called the Foxes. They had a goofy-looking tile sponsor on their shirt. And as they started to get back into the Premier League, they became easier to watch, and it's just a great team to follow along with. Yes, Fee, so I will be hosting this one solo today, but definitely would love to see some of you come on at half and full time if you get the chance. Where can I watch the game? I think this match should be on Sky in the UK. I'll admit that I'm not too aware. I know if you're in the United States, you can watch it on NBC Peacock. And if you're in Canada, it will be on DAZN. LCFC fan, what do you think of Luke Thomas? I think he's an incredible player. I'm not sure why he's not in the lineup today. I'm hopeful that it might have just been something light that he might have picked up in training, not something that we need to be too concerned about. I'd imagine if it's something that would leave him out longer term, there would have been an announcement about it by the team. So I'm hopeful that it's nothing too concerning, but definitely a player for the future for us. That's Michael. I wanted to pick a team with a blue shirt that's not Chelsea. I will say, if we do need to give Chelsea credit for something, they've come out with some nice kits over the years. Maybe not their current one, but they had a textured kit when they had the Yokohama Tire sponsored. It was a nice shirt. Ian Marshall has a football academy in Canada. That's quite interesting. I know that there's a few players who open up football academies in Canada. I know that there was a former Dutch international that's opened up an academy here in Canada as well. Football's quite popular out here. It's just ultimately our women's team is much better than our men's team, but I think that they are actually sort of carrying Soccer Canada, the national organization, and slowly our men's team is starting to improve to match their skills. I'm sorry that you are going to miss out on watching the game if you don't have Sky, but definitely I'd love to have you join us here. I will be trying to cover as much of the action as possible. As well, we'll always be giving some analysis, definitely having your views come up anytime we just hit some pedestrian play. One update that I can give as the lineups are put up on screen is that while we did believe it was going to be a 4-3-3, the Premier League broadcast is calling it a 4-2-3-1 lineup, with Barnes and Lookman falling further back and playing as sort of midfield and forward wingers. But I think in theory, we're going to be seeing a lot of them up front, given what we saw from them against Brighton. What's my thoughts on Lookman? I'm dazzled by it. I'll admit that I didn't think he was going to be a world beater when we signed him on loan. I thought that he was promising. He was a name I recognized. He did well at Fulham. However, just the few times that we've seen him on field coming on as a substitute, he changes games. I always love a good player that can come off from the bench and change the players around them. It's why Mark Albrighton is one of my favorite players, because he does that in the midfield. He's creative, he's fast, he's skilled, but he doesn't have the sort of arrogance that you see around young, skilled players. So that's one of the things that I really love to see from Ademola Lookman, and I would love, if he keeps this form up, for us to sign him at the end of this season. We did have, so Ian Hume, a Canadian legend, he did give a lot to this club. It was funny as I started to learn more about like the history of Leicester City and some of the former players. That was one of the names that I recognized off the bat because he was one well known by Canadians, of course. Okay, here we go. So if you do also want to get a second view, so it is apparently on BBC Radio Leicester if you are in the Leicester City area. We have kicked off, and right off the bat, the ball does end up in the Leicester City defensive third. But Yannick Vestergaard, of course, shows some big solid form and takes that ball right away. And we're currently getting a high press from Burnley, but Leicester City are doing reasonably well to play through, and Burnley are forced to play the ball back to their defensive four. But it looks as though Burnley are playing some classic Route 1. Just anytime they get the ball, they're lobbing it high and long in the hopes that either Vidra or Wood could end up getting to this ball. So definitely some early pressure coming in from Burnley. I know we typically know them as a very defensive side, but they are coming for the throat off the bat at the moment. So definitely get your views in on if you think we will continue to maintain, if we're going to continue to sustain pressure from Burnley, or if we think we might get settled into this. Play is now in the midfield. Lookman already playing in the center. So much like Michael mentioned earlier, it does look like he's going to be nestling behind Vardy at times, because from what I just saw on screen, he was almost playing a center forward role, putting pressure on the middle two Burnley center backs. LCFC fan hate the way that Burnley play. It's boring. I'll tell you what, they are coming in pretty excitedly. Rebo, I'll give you a quick time sync. So I am at 1 minute 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, if you would like to get synced up with me. Ricardo Pereira plays the ball to Tielemans, and we are currently passing the ball around the back. Yannick Vestergaard tries a through ball but cannot find Sumare, and that ball is intercepted by Burnley, currently held in the midfield. Josh Brownhill plays the ball back towards Ben Mee. Ball is played out on the wing. Charlie Taylor coming forward. Jostles with Tielemans. Tielemans looking more physical than we've seen from him in previous matches, but he doesn't win the ball. So Soyuncu comes forward and stops that attack. Ball currently with Lookman towards the midfield. A lot of Burnley players getting back. We're seeing they're playing rigid lines right now, Burnley, and those lines are moving forward and back with the ball, but they are not breaking formation. Lookman currently playing some back and forth with Sumare, forced to play the ball back to Vestergaard, who will play the ball back towards Kasper Schmeichel. Schmeichel playing around with the ball a little bit and will pass the ball upfield towards Ndidi. Ndidi tries to find Bertrand on the wing. He does. He plays the ball forward to Barnes. Barnes forced backwards will play the ball to Tielemans. Currently the ball being held right around the center circle. A lot of pressure coming from Burnley right now. Jack Cosgrove, big respect to you there. I always like to mention that it's early here in Canada, or that it's even earlier for Michael out in Seattle, but 12 a.m. in Australia right now. So definitely love to see that kind of dedication to the team. Harvey Barnes gets by his man up by the corner flag, but the center defender will come forward and get the ball and clear it. But the first major movement of threat from Leicester City, as Burnley will win a free kick on the center circle. They will take it quickly and play the ball up the right wing. Ryan Bertrand will be applying some pressure, force them to turn around. They will try to reverse play it over to the left wing to Charlie Taylor, who will hold the ball around the halfway line. He will play the ball up towards the new Ivorian player, Maxwell Cornet, but he can't get the ball forward, and they are forced to play the ball all the way back to Nick Pope. My pop was from Leicester, and he is 96. Well, definitely warm greetings to your father as well. Always love to see some Leicester City supporters from around the world. 10 p.m. in Perth. Predictions for this game. So from some of our discussions, some big score lines as Lookman plays the ball upfield towards Sumare. We get some pressure in on the area. I'll get into score predictions in a second as Harvey Barnes plays a cross in that nearly finds Pereira at the back post, but Cornet does get the ball and will play it off Pereira. The ball stays in play, and Pereira will try to handle the ball around the corner flag, but will get to the Burnley center back will play the ball forward. Thank you for that reminder. Let me get that score up on screen. There we are. Score is still 0-0. So we were saying that some fans were predicting rather big score lines, 3-4 to Leicester City. I think that it's going to be much cagier. I'm thinking a 2-1, like you have in your comment here. Jack Cosgrove, I think we'd all love to see another 9-0. Ball currently held by Vestergaard around the halfway line. He tries to play a low through ball, but that will not get past Burnley's number 18. I think that's Brownhill. A sliding tackle by Vestergaard on Matej Vidra by the center circle will be a free kick to Burnley. Looks as though that might be a booking. Replay is showing that he may have gotten a slight touch on the ball. Yeah, it looks like he may have gotten it with his toe, but I don't think this is the kind of play that's going to get reviewed. But Vestergaard visibly frustrated with the decision, and Burnley will get the free kick on the edge of the center circle. No booking. Will be Westwood to take. A lot of us were definitely feeling that Ademola Lookman, very, very good player. He has just a skill to dance around defenders that we don't see from a lot of our forward players. As Burnley will take the first shot of the game, and it will be held by Kasper Schmeichel, who will fall to the ground. A very solidly taken shot by Matej Vidra. Tries to get it in the near post, but that will not get past Schmeichel. A long free kick from Kasper Schmeichel, something new that we're seeing, that gets up to Lookman. He's already in the Burnley penalty area. Will play it across the face of goal, and that will fall to Harvey Barnes, but his shot is blocked. That block will fall to Ryan Bertrand, who will play the ball up back to Barnes at the edge of the penalty area. He gets past his man, will play in across that they just get a touch to. Yuri Tielemans will hold the ball inside, but it will be cleared by Burnley, who will now play a counter-attack, and it is Vidra up against Soyuncu, but he will get back and put him off his balance. Yannick Vestergaard gets a toe to it, and that ball will be collected by Schmeichel. Route 1 football at its best from Burnley there, right from their penalty area to a break in the Leicester City third, but some solid defending from both Soyuncu and Vestergaard there. I was happy bringing in Vestergaard. I think when we were looking for someone who could sort of replace Johnny Evans, we needed somebody with a lot of Premier League experience, that sort of level-headed defender, and Vestergaard has so far done that, and it's been very nice to see. Leicester will win the Prem. I think we would all love to see Leicester win the Prem again. Yes, Jono, thank you for mentioning that. Some people have been coming in and posting some links in the chat. I've been doing my best to filter those out and delete those comments, but please do not click any links that you see in the chat unless they are coming from the Leicester Fan TV account. I will be posting links for you to join us online, but please do not click other links that you see in the chat. Yeah, Yannick Vestergaard he's a very imposing figure that also helps give us some threat in the area. And speaking of the area, Soumare has the ball and will backheel it towards Jamie Vardy. He gets into the penalty area. We'll play the ball to Tielemans just outside. He gets into some space, takes a shot, and unfortunately that ball is headed to Loughborough. It is very high above the net and up into the back row there. But some positive attacking play from Leicester City, and definitely have to give some credit to Soumare there. Not only was that a very cheeky backheel to get the ball to Vardy just outside the penalty area, but he also nutmegs his man in order to get the ball to him. So we've seen both teams getting some quality attacking chances. I would say Leicester have had the better chances, but we haven't had the better shots so far. This was one of the first things that we talked about just after we went live. It's one of the things I love about the Premier League is the fact that anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone. No game is certain. Burnley taking another shot, and that will be blocked, and Kasper Schmeichel will get to that ball just ahead of Maxwell Cornet. Again, a very, very quick attack coming forward from Burnley. They are trying to catch Leicester City off guard, and they've been doing reasonably well to get ahead of the Leicester back line, but they just haven't been able to get into the space that they need to get the shot. Jamie Vardy now has the ball just outside the penalty area. He will play the ball to Lookman. Lookman will play the ball to Bertrand out on the wing. Bertrand forced to turn around, play the ball back to Soumare, who will play a high ball to change the wing out to Ricardo. Ricardo will play the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans plays across in, looking for the head of Jamie Vardy, which he does find, but Vardy cannot get the shot off. Well, it goes off his head, off the ground, and just over the ball. I'm a little torn on FIFA 22. I normally buy the new edition just because I like the updated kits. I say while wearing last season's shirt, but I like getting the ones with the updated kits that when they normally get new teams involved in FIFA. The fact that they've been losing a lot of teams in Serie A has been a little bit of a no vote for me. However, I think I'll probably still end up getting it. Nick Pope takes the goal kick rather low, and that will hit Jamie Vardy. But his header will only find Ben Mee, who will play the ball to Cornet on the left wing. However, it looks as though he dribbled the ball out of play, and it is a throw-in to Leicester City that Ricardo Pereira will take just ahead of the halfway line. Very cagey game, a lot of chances. Don't worry, Nick. It is just it's just a plain red shirt. I don't have it. I only own the one Burnley shirt. And that's just so that I can hang it up on the backdrop. And unfortunately, Jamie Vardy can't hold the pass that looked to come from, I think, from Soumare out on the wing, and that will go out for a Burnley throw that Charlie Taylor will take and pass to Ben Mee. Ben Mee will try to find a break, and he does. And that ball is currently with Vidra. Vidra will backheel the ball to Cornet. Cornet will play across in looking for Wood, but he will only find Vestergaard. Vestergaard's clearance finds Vidra, who will head the ball to Cornet. He is out on the left side of the penalty area. He has a back and forth with Brownhill. He's in the area, but will not get past Wilfred Ndidi. Lovely, lovely defensive play from him, and that is out for the first corner of the match, which will be for Burnley. Penalty call. I haven't seen anything to indicate that as of yet. I'm not sure if you might be paying attention to some of the other matches that are going on in the Premier League. I will try to give you any updates if any scoring or major events happen in those as well. Corner played in by Burnley, and that is a goal. Burnley have scored first. Looks as though that was a header by Ben Mee, and first goal has been scored by Burnley. The away fans celebrate, and that is Burnley 1, Leicester City 0. Burnley 1. Scored at the near post. I'll be honest, I had thought that JB Vardy had gotten there. Oh, as it turns out, it is an own goal. JB Vardy tries to head the ball out at the near post, but unfortunately, he will only navigate it up and over Kasper Schmeichel. Looks like it was just some poor defensive communication. Vardy just not tall enough to get to that cross in advance, and it just knocks the ball up and over Schmeichel. And it is a Jamie Vardy own goal to set up 1-0 to Burnley. Got it. Very fair, very fair. I would never wear the opponent's shirt on screen. I will only put it up behind me. Relegation candidates this season, I'm not sure about that. We still have a very talented squad, but there is definitely something that needs to change in this team. It was very unlucky. Leicester City have been getting a lot of bad breaks so far, but you know, he still tried. I think it was just unfortunate the way that the ball hit the top of his head. He's not a defender. He's not somebody who normally has to make those kinds of defensive plays. He's not normally the person marking the near post. Ricardo actually had that post blocked, but I think Vardy just thought that he would be able to knock it out for another corner or even for a throw. But again, he just couldn't get that solid header that he needed. Absolutely mental. We've had 3 great chances to score, and we need to find the net. Absolutely. What I'm really hoping is that this isn't going to diminish some of the positivity that we saw from Leicester so far in this first half. We have been creating quality chances. We just haven't gotten the chance to get the shot off yet. But we've been getting through what is normally reputed as a very solid Burnley back line. Leicester currently maintaining possession, passing it through Leicester's midfield lines. Ball currently with Yannick Vestergaard, who will play the ball to Çağlar Söyüncü. Söyüncü playing the ball forward, and he will get past his midfield marker, play the ball to Ricardo, who's forced to play the ball back to Tielemans, and it is once again with the center backs. He will play the ball to Ryan Bertrand, who will play it to Harvey Barnes out on the left wing, but Barnes has nobody he can play it to yet. He's forced to play it to Ndidi, who's forced to play it to Bertrand, who's forced to play it once again back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard plays a high ball that will not find anyone except for Cornet, and Burnley regain possession. Long ball play that will try to find one of Wood or Vidra, but it will only find Söyüncü, who will play the ball out for a throw-in. Chris Wood, very solid player for New Zealand. I would say that he's one of the more solid players for their national team for sure. Just a quick look at the stats. So Leicester City currently holding almost 2/3 of possession, 62-38. 3 shots to Leicester to 2 to Burnley, but Burnley have the only shot on target so far. Leicester have made 40 more passes than Burnley, have committed 2 fouls to Burnley 0, and there has been a booking for Leicester City. Burnley have 1 corner, no offsides yet in the game. So yeah, Leicester City have been dominating the game, and I think we are just unfortunate to have conceded first. And yeah, just rather shocking. I was completely caught off guard because I thought that Vardy had that defensive header. That's why I was so stunned when it turned out to be an own goal by Vardy. He's scoring. The goal is just not in the right net today. But it's early days. If we're 15 minutes in at the moment, 15 and a half, a lot of game left, substitutions that can be made at halftime. This game is not over. Ball play forward by Burnley again, but that will not get past Söyüncü. Söyüncü plays the ball to Ndidi. Ndidi under pressure, looks like by Brownhill. Ball played back to Kasper Schmeichel. Sorry, it was pressure by McNeil, not by Brownhill. Schmeichel plays the long ball trying to find Lookman, but he will not get there ahead of Taylor. Taylor plays the ball back to Pope, but Lookman in there pressuring Pope, forcing Pope to play the ball back out to Taylor on the wing. Taylor will play the ball forward. That will go to Brownhill. Brownhill will play a lofted ball trying to find Cornet, but he overcooks it. And that is caught by Kasper Schmeichel. He will play the ball back to Pereira, trying to get the ball forward quickly. Pereira will play the ball to Tielemans, who's now playing out on the wing. He doesn't really have a crossing angle available for him. He doesn't have a passing angle available for him. He will play the ball slightly back towards Ndidi. Ndidi tries to change up the wing towards Bertrand on the wing. Bertrand plays the ball forward to Barnes. Barnes finds Bertrand again. Bertrand then gets into the Burnley penalty area, plays the ball across, will not find a Leicester City player, played out by Brownhill for a Leicester City throw. It's a sign I'm not looking forward to this. I think it was unlucky that own goal. I think perhaps even Pereira could have covered that near post had Vardy not touched it. again, we're still playing positively. I don't think this game is anywhere near over. Jack's still very positive with a 9-1 victory for Leicester City. Ball currently forced to play back, and it is with Yannick Vestergaard at the halfway line. He will play the ball to Ndidi. Ndidi gets around Brownhill. Will play the ball up and over towards Barnes. Barnes will play the ball. He gets past his man, plays it to Sumare. Sumare will play it off of Barnes' chest to Vardy. Over to Bertrand. He can't get his cross in, and it is out for a throw-in in a dangerous area for Leicester City. The fans are making some noise with their their little slapping fans. That ball will be played. Throwing his pass to Sumare, who will play the ball back to Bertrand. Play currently held by Barnes. Barnes will find Lookman just outside the Burnley penalty area. He is forced to play the ball backwards, but unfortunately he overcooks his pass, and that is out for a throw-in to Burnley in the Burnley third. I feel like Leicester has to have a good start to the season to do well. That has definitely been the Leicester City way for the last few seasons. Normally, we do very, very well for about the first third and middle third, and then we normally lose our European place in the last third of the season. But still a lot of games left to play, of course. Nick Pope will play the ball forward, but it will only find Ndidi. Ndidi finds Tielemans, but a lot of white shirts that are back there. Harvey Barnes currently holding the ball. He will take a shot from distance and will force a save by Nick Pope, but a very good shot. Zivo Genius, it was a well-played corner, but ultimately, no, it was a defensive mistake by Leicester City. And unfortunately, the ball just went in off of Jamie Vardy's head. Always worth mentioning as well, not only on the pitch and in the stadiums, but even in forums like ours, there is no room for racism in football at all. Everybody, no matter who you are, should feel welcome to be part of a supporting community or to be a player for any team as well. And everyone should feel welcome in the footballing community. Ball currently held by Burnley in their defensive third. Jamie Vardy putting some pressure on Ashley Westwood, who is forced to play the ball back. Ball currently held by Brownhill. He will play the ball to Westwood. Westwood passes the ball past Sumare and will crash into him. His pass is intercepted. Sumare tries to do a little back and forth with Harvey Barnes, but he overcooks his second pass, and that ball has gone out for a Burnley throw-in near the halfway line. A goal has been scored in Leeds versus West Ham. I can't jump away from the Leicester City stream, but when I can find out who that goal has been scored for, I will let you know. Tielemans slips as the Burnley throw-in is taken, and Burnley maintain possession. They're forced to play it backwards, and a very high ball is played over towards Cornet on the wing. He will play the ball back towards Taylor. Taylor forced to play the ball back even further, and that will go towards Me. Me plays the ball to I wasn't sure who he played the ball back to, but it is now with Ndidi. Ndidi plays the ball to Tielemans. Jamie Vardy might be looking for a through ball, but Lookman is available in some space, and he will get there. He will play a cross in. He cannot find Jamie Vardy, and that is played up and out by Burnley, and the ball will fall to Cornet. Cornet will play the ball in towards Westwood. Westwood will play the ball towards their center midfielder, who will play a very high ball. He tries to find Vidra, and he does, but Vidra cannot control the ball, and it will go into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. Daniel, football is a results-based game. If this carries on, Rodgers will get sacked. Easier to change the manager than the whole team, unfortunately. I don't like to predict sackings. Oh, I'm going to jump back on that as Jamie Vardy does come forward, but unfortunately, 3 Burnley players come over to mark him, and one of them will make the tackle and get the ball back to Nick Pope, and Burnley will play the ball forward again very quickly. However, a free kick has been given. Could have even been an offside. The referee's arm is raised, and Leicester City will regain possession. Yannick Vestergaard will take that. I really like Brendan Rodgers. However, one of the things that he's known for is being very stubborn in his tactics. And what we're seeing right now is that things need to change, and it's going to be a fight between, like, what change needs to happen. Will Brendan Rodgers change his tactics, or will Leicester change Brendan Rodgers? Yes, thank you for that. That update has now come through on my feeds for the other matches as well. Leeds are now beating West Ham 1-0, a goal by Rafinha. Some people definitely are becoming anti-Rodgers as well. I don't want this to turn into like an Arsenal Arsene Wenger situation where fans are divided. I wouldn't sack Brendan Rodgers right now, but I think that the board do need to start talking to him about making changes. Brendan Rodgers is a class manager. I wouldn't want to lose him. I don't know who exactly Leicester will be able to pull in if we lose him. So until we have a very concrete replacement lined up, I don't think it's time to talk about sacking him. Norwich could lose every game. Again, it's the Premier League. Anything can happen. You know, we saw Sheffield United were having a terrible season last season, and then they beat Manchester United in Old Trafford. I think we could easily see something like that happen again. We're just a team that doesn't expect anything from Norwich. We'll underestimate them and we'll get defeated. Cross played in, but will not get past Cornet, but his header will find Ndidi. Ndidi doesn't take the shot. He tries to play it across goal, and that will only hit a center defender and go out for a Leicester City throw-in, kind of halfway between their offensive third and the halfway line. Pereira will take it and throw it to Ndidi. Ndidi forced to turn around. He will play the ball across to Soumare. Currently holding the ball just outside the center circle. A goal has been scored, Watford versus Newcastle. When this ball goes out of play, I will update you on that. Ryan Bertrand forced to play the ball back to Soumare, and we are now playing the ball backwards again. Yannick Vestergaard will play the ball across the back line to Soyuncu, and we are currently holding the ball around the center circle, and that ball will go back to Vestergaard. I like Rodgers, but there's a rumor he might be going to Barca. Rodgers is I think that's just comes from the fact that a lot of the media just still has that little Leicester mentality. They feel like it's easy to pull players and managers from Leicester. We can't forget that he was linked with Tottenham. He was linked with Arsenal. He seems reasonably happy here, and so long as this poor run of form doesn't continue too much, I don't see him leaving for another team. I don't think anyone would really want to go to Barca right now as well, given how little budget there is for them to change players. I feel like you're kind of getting set up for failure if you end up going to Barcelona. Winning predictability has just come up on screen, and it's currently just about 25% each for a Leicester win and a draw, and 45% for a Burnley win. Ball is currently with Kasper Schmeichel. I'm just going to take a quick moment to jump over, and I can let you know that Newcastle have scored at Vicarage Road, and it is 1-0 through Sean Longstaff against Watford. Ball currently held by Tielemans near the center circle. He will play the ball out on the wing towards Bertrand. Bertrand lets the ball roll by him, and will recollect the ball near the touchline and play the ball back towards Yannick Vestergaard, and currently just passing the ball around the back line, much like Leicester City normally do. Ball played back to Ryan Bertrand. He will play the ball over to Harvey Barnes, but Harvey Barnes has two players marking him, but he gets past both of them. And what could have been a very nice through play, unfortunately hits Barnes on the heel instead of going between his legs into his possession, and that will go out for a Burnley throw-in. Brendan Rodgers looking visibly frustrated on the sideline with the fact that things unfortunately just aren't working out for him at the moment, as Burnley will take their time with this throw-in. Throw-in is taken, and that ball will go to Brownhill. Brownhill is knocked down by Soumare, and that is out for a throw-in. I'm not sure which team that's been called for, because that was off of a little bit of a collision. Not sure which player they think that came off of last. Unfortunately, the linesman was out of view, but I will let you know when I see. It was a Burnley throw-in. Burnley will play the ball high, but that will not get past Vestergaard. Chris Wood will win the header for the clearance, and they will play the ball to Brownhill, but Burnley are forced to play backwards. That was with Brownhill, who will play the ball back to Westwood. Westwood will play the ball over towards Taylor. Taylor to me. That will be intercepted by Ricardo Pereira, who will play the ball. He can't make the pass to Tielemans, and Burnley will regain possession. But Ricardo comes in and makes a tackle. That ball will fall to Soumare, who will play the ball to Ndidi, and Leicester are on the attack again. It is Harvey Barnes on the edge of the area. He can't find Lookman, but he does find Pereira, who plays the ball across goal, and Jamie Vardy just cannot get to the ball. Unfortunately, that would have been a superb goal had Vardy been able to get to it, but unfortunately, he just couldn't get there. What's the opposite of a fortress? Might be the Leicester City defense at the moment. I'm not sure why we're playing this bad, because our tactical positioning hasn't been that different to where we were last season when we played that well. There are some people saying that it might be because, Brendan Rodgers' tactics have been found out. We are quite vulnerable to teams that play high presses, because we normally like to just let teams play in, hold possession, and then when we get the ball up, over, through ball, Vardy, goal. But the high press doesn't let us get settled in when we have the ball in the back line. Leicester City on the attack again. Harvey Barnes dances through a few defenders. Ball will end up with Tielemans. Tielemans can't get the ball to Bertrand, unfortunately, and that is out for a Burnley throw. But there's just been some disconnection throughout the field. A lot of the passing plays that normally were very positive for us against other teams, and even that were sort of key for us in the 2015-16 season, we're just not seeing. Like that Ranieri passing style is not working for us because players just aren't making the passes that they need to. Players are running when the ball is played behind them, and ball ends up just going out into touch. We're making ourselves too vulnerable to tackles. It's one of those things where it's just, I can't even really point out one thing that needs to be fixed because it's just been 70% across the board. We just haven't been good enough lately. And I'm hoping this is the kind of thing that's going to ease out as the season gets on, but not quite sure yet. Daniel, like I was mentioning, teams know what to do against us at this point. You sit behind the ball and you press from the front. And that's exactly what Manchester City did. It's what Brighton did. It's what Burnley are doing. And unfortunately, it's just not doing well for us at the moment. A quick update. There has been a penalty that has been given in Norwich versus Everton. Not sure who for yet, but I will update you on that on the next break in play for us, as Pereira will have a bit of back and forth with Lookman. Pereira slips as he tries to play the ball cross field to Barnes. He will still find Barnes, but it just breaks his momentum a little bit. Soumare will get the ball and play it to Ndidi. Soumare now holding the ball just on the border of the Burnley defensive third. He will play the ball back, and it will go to Vestergaard. Penalty has been scored. Like I said, I will update you when there's a break in play. As Soyuncu, playing very high upfield, plays the ball to Ricardo, who will play the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans will find Barnes in some open space. He is now inside the Burnley penalty area. He will take a shot, and unfortunately that is high and wide. Let me just do a quick check. So that was a penalty goal that was scored by Everton. Unfortunately, my feeds are down, so I cannot tell you yet who has scored that goal, but I will let you know once I can get that update. But it is Everton 1, Norwich City 0 in that match. Personally, I don't think Arsenal are going to get relegated. I think they're going to be mediocre for a few seasons, but we've seen some of the big four teams do that, where they finish in mid-season for a couple seasons and then they recover. Liverpool did that, and I think Arsenal are going to do the same. Goal kick played out by Pope, and that will fall to Ndidi, whose header will be collected by Brownhill. Brownhill currently holding possession, and some quick passing football. Charlie Taylor now coming forward, center back, playing in the Leicester City defensive third. He will get the ball to Cornet on the wing. Cornet will get past Tielemans and into the penalty area. But unfortunately, their passes, Brownhill's pass will not get past Ricardo, and Leicester City recover and will try to move forward. Tielemans will play the ball to Lookman. Burnley are currently flailing, trying to get all their players back, but unfortunately no one for Lookman to pass to. But he finds a very smart pass that nearly finds Harvey Barnes with a shooting opportunity in the penalty area, but a sliding Tarkovsky will play that ball out. Tielemans will take the throw, and it falls to Ricardo, who will play the ball back and forth with Lookman, who will play the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans' through ball to Ricardo will not get past Taylor, who will play the ball out for another Leicester City throw-in. Thank you for the update, Thea. Andros Townsend scoring that penalty for Everton, and it is 1-0. Ricardo to take the throw-in in the Burnley defensive area. He will play the ball towards the corner, towards Tielemans, who will play the ball back to Ricardo. Ricardo looking for a cross. Instead, he plays a low ball towards Lookman, who plays the ball into the area, and Soumare, he's making the claim that that ball went off the Burnley defender. A very, very smart play by everyone involved there, but unfortunately, looks as though Soumare might have just scuffed his shot, and it is out, I believe, for a Burnley goal kick. Yes, as Nick Pope sets up to take the goal kick. Everton are only winning because of, I'm assuming that's, Damari Gray. We were mentioning that Damari Gray, it's unfortunate to see him playing so well when he wasn't as impressive with Leicester City, but sometimes players just don't mesh with managers. We saw that with the way that Lingard did so well when he switched to playing with David Moyes at West Ham. Sometimes a player just isn't the right fit for a team, and it looks like that was it for Damari Gray. He just wasn't the right fit for Leicester City, but he is the right fit for Everton. And to be honest, I'm happy to see him being successful because, you know, it's important for us to remember that players are human. And I would rather see a player do well and enjoy their football at another team than be unhappy and not play well with us. Who's better, Vardy or Ndidi? I don't really think it's fair to compare the two because I wouldn't play Ndidi as a center forward, and I wouldn't play Vardy as a sort of defensive wall midfielder. They're both very, very good at what they do. I think you guys should give the mod to Fee. She's been doing a good job in chat and always here. Fee is always one of those reliable fans. Always great to have you being part of the chat, and especially when I'm flying solo. Always great to have you in my corner to sort of help give the updates on the other matches as well. There's a Burnley free kick right on the border of the Leicester City defensive third. Looks like they're going to be playing across in. A lot of Leicester players defending in the area at the moment. Looks as though, unfortunately, I can't quite make out the numbers, but looks like it's going to be Westwood who will take this free kick. Yes, it is. Westwood plays the ball in. He will hit the two-man wall, but the rebound will fall to a Burnley player, but Leicester City recover the ball and are now attacking with Lookman. Lookman making the break, but Burnley getting back in numbers. Lookman will try to play the ball to Tielemans, but he will not get his ball past Burnley's man. He will play the ball off Tielemans for a Burnley throw-in, but a positive break for Leicester City there. Again, we are coming forward when we need to, but again, it's just been unfortunate that we aren't getting like the final 10% of the play that we need to get in there and get the goals that we need. Fee gets an OBE. I would be open to that. And I get Vardy away from the defense. Yeah, he's not a defender. And I think that was unfortunately just why the own goal happened, was that it's not what he's meant to do. I'm not sure why he ended up in that position. Soyuncu will collect the ball. He plays the ball up high. Soumare is in a heading battle, and he will win both headers. And Leicester City will come forward with Barnes. Vardy trying to get a through play. Unfortunately, Barnes tries to play a cute pass to Tielemans, but it will go behind his back, and Burnley will recover. Burnley will then play the ball high and over, and that will fall to Vidra, who plays the ball very smartly towards Wood. But Wood forced to turn around, and that gives Leicester City time to get back. Ball currently held by Dwight McNeil out towards the wing. I think I might have been calling McNeil Brownhill a couple of times. He will play the ball over, but Vestergaard will get his head onto that cross, and that is out for a second Burnley corner. How many minutes until halftime? It is the 34th minute at the moment, so 16 minutes. Nope. 11 minutes until halftime. 11 minutes. For some reason, I thought halftime at 50 for a second there. Out of all the players, but had to be Jamie Vardy. Yeah, but I would say at the same time, Jamie Vardy is one of those players that it's very hard for him to get dismayed. So I'm hoping that that won't have a big mental impact on him the way that it might have on a younger player. Like if that was a Soyuncu own goal or Harvey Barnes or someone like that. Like Jamie Vardy, he's a player who can take a licking and keep on ticking. As it will be Westwood who will take this corner, and that will be headed out by Ndidi. And then that header by Ndidi will be collected by Lookman. Ball forced all the way out towards Lowton near the halfway line. Leicester City will again regain possession, but that was a poor pass that nearly gives possession back towards Burnley, and it is a free kick. Wilfred Ndidi not happy with that call at all, as looks as though that might have been Charlie Taylor who took a knock there. I thought that that was a fair tackle myself, but it looks as though that will be a Burnley free kick in a relatively dangerous area. Oh, okay, so that's what happened. It was Soumare goes in, sliding in, but he gets 100% of the ball, but in the follow-through, knocks down. It was Ben Mee who got knocked down. And unfortunately, it is a free kick for Burnley in a very dangerous area. Not going to read out that comment just because of some choice language there. We are a family channel. It was a Jamie Vardy own goal. I don't think he's going to retire this season. He's still going reasonably strong. I think he's one of those players that's going to play until he cannot play anymore. So I could see him becoming more of a rotation player, kind of player that plays on the bench for us for a couple seasons before he actually retires, kind of like Fuchs did before he left. Burnley will take the free kick, and they will not. Brownhill will not find the net. Goes just over the bar. Schmeichel not really troubled, and that will be a goal kick for Leicester City. Yeah, Jack, I would say that that very much suits Jamie's mentality, where him scoring an own goal will make him want to be the player on the score sheet even more. And he never dies. Nah. I could see him playing until he's, like 36, 37, 38. He mentioned that like he doesn't want to leave for like another team. I know he was rumored to be going to Liverpool a few seasons ago, and he said, why would I leave the team that gave me a chance? So I don't think that he would leave until, again, like sort of that Christian Fuchs scenario where maybe he'll make a move to like MLS or even back into the lower leagues. Tielemans coming forward, a very promising attack. He will find Jamie Vardy in space, who will take the shot, and that is the equalizer. And Jamie Vardy gets his second goal of the game to level the play at 1-1. And now he's saying his trademark catchphrase with a little bit of chatter to the Burnley fans, as he always loves to do. But yeah, so just an update there before I put on the goal horn. Jamie Vardy actually scored an own goal off of a corner and has now scored the equalizer. So to take a little bit from Tom's playbook, it is Leicester City 1, Burnley 1. And that right there was the exact kind of play that we have been trying to play all match so far. Those cheeky, fast-moving breaks, one-touch passing, and this time, everything came up for us. They found Vardy with space. He still has that pace, and he puts it right past the outstretched foot of Nick Pope into the opposite bottom corner. So yes, Jamie Vardy did score. Fee apparently has said that he will stay until he retires. So yes, I could definitely see Vardy becoming a rotation player. Yuri Tielemans tries to play a through ball that Lookman will just barely keep in play. But unfortunately, he can't collect the ball after he does that, and it will roll out of play for a Burnley throw-in right by the corner flag. But Leicester City going for the throat right off of the kickoff, recollects possession from Burnley, and immediately tries to play a through ball. But unfortunately, the pass just wasn't quite there. And Burnley will take this throw-in right by the corner flag. 39 minutes played, so we are getting right up close to halftime, as Burnley will take the throw-in, and it will find Chris Wood, but Chris Wood will not find any Burnley player. High ball played off of Leicester City's. I'm not sure which Leicester player that went off of, but it will go right into the arms of Nick Pope, who will give his team a chance to refine their shape and play a volleyed goal kick. That will find nobody but Ndidi. Ndidi blasts the ball back over, but that will only find Tarkovsky. Tarkovsky will play the ball towards Westwood. Westwood plays a high ball up and over, and he will find Vidra, who's under pressure from Vestergaard, but maintains the ball. He will turn, play across, oh my goodness, and that is a goal for Burnley. A cross played across by Westwood that will find Cornet on a high volley. And just after Leicester City scored, Burnley have scored again. So it is now Leicester City 1, Burnley 2. For what it's worth, a very, very good goal by Burnley there. Fee, thank you so much for the £1.99 super sticker. I would much rather talk about this than the Burnley goal. These always help us pay for streaming services that we use to bring these streams to you. So thank you so, so much. But yes, an unfortunate goal. It was a cross by Vidra. My apologies for calling him Westwood. Vidra plays the ball across and falls perfectly at the right height for Cornet on a flying volley. That would be a candidate for Burnley's goal of the month, to be perfectly frank. And he just tells the fans to calm down in his celebration. And at the 40th minute mark, it is 2-1 towards Burnley. Casper, the most underrated goalie, he gets a lot of credit for what it's worth. I've seen people calling him like the 5th, 6th best keeper in the league, and I think that's relatively fair. He was much better a few years ago as well. I think he's starting to get past his prime, but he is still, of course, a class goalkeeper. Burnley already on the attack again. Cornet found in space, but he will not find his volley that time. Chalar Soyuncu is furious with the other defenders for how much space Cornet had there. Just watching the replay here, looks as though, no, he was not offside. He just couldn't find his volley there. Very dangerous attack there by Burnley. So I had originally predicted a 2-1 to Leicester for this match, but something is going to have to change at halftime. I could see this, if the status quo maintains, it will be high scoring. It could end up being like a 3-3, even a 3-2 Burnley. I think if Brendan gets their act together, makes some substitutions at halftime, I think we could still pull this out, maybe get a 3-2. Brendan clearly not happy on the touchline as Mike comes in with a relegation battle for anybody. Not the start of the season that Leicester City would have hoped for, as Leicester take a throw-in near the midway line, but they play the ball backwards, and it's currently held by Vestergaard in the defensive third. He's under pressure by Vidra. Vestergaard plays the ball up to Ndidi, who plays the ball to Soyuncu, back towards Schmeichel. Schmeichel blasts the ball back upfield, and he will find Vardy, who will play the ball towards Sumare. Sumare under pressure by Brownhill makes his pass up towards Barnes. Barnes gets into the penalty area, but he is marked by a lot of players. He can't get his shot off, but Jamie Vardy recovers possession, and play has not been called off. And Bertrand will get the ball. His cross will not find anybody but Tarkovsky, who will blast the ball right out for a throw-in. George Forty with a long comment here. Leicester are always frowned upon and no one takes us seriously. We've won League One, the Championship, survived relegation, and won the Premier League as well. Yeah, it's sort of that little Leicester mentality, but I'll admit that I kind of like it. I like the idea that we slide under the radar, and we do impressive things when people don't expect us to. And I'm hoping that we can continue to do that. Some people saying that they hope Burnley get relegated. And George also coming in with a few more of the qualifications for Leicester. Quarterfinals of the CL, and of course have won the FA Cup. We've also, of course, won the Community Shield this season as well. It's a poor start to the season, but it's still a good time to be a Leicester fan. As Sumare dances around a few Burnley players, Harvey Barnes nearly collects a beautifully played through ball around 3 Burnley defenders, but Matt Loughton will just get there in time and will play that out for Leicester City's first corner of the game at the 43-minute mark. Yeah, Jack Cosgrove saying in that we are a massive club that people don't think we are. I'll comment on that just after the corner is taken, as Bertrand lines up to take it. He will play a high cross in that will only find Vidra, but that will fall to Tielemans, who blasts a volley from outside the box, but that shot is blocked, and that will roll out of play for a Leicester City throw-in. Daniel Bradbury, we haven't improved the starting 11 like other teams did. It's just depth we improved, and that's another reason we're struggling. I'm not necessarily sure that that's fair to say why we're struggling, because we did very well with the lineup that we had, and the depth was the biggest reason why we struggled last season. Harvey Barnes holds possession and will play the ball over to Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball right through Harvey Barnes to Jamie Vardy, but that ball will only find the Burnley defender, and Burnley will try to regroup. They will find their own players, and that ball is played up, trying to find a through ball towards Cornet, which he will find it, but will play the ball out for a throw-in. 1 minute left in this half before injury time. Ooh, this could be bad for Burnley, as it looks as though Cornet might have pulled up a little bit. He's holding his hamstring. Looks as though he might have pulled a muscle. He is tending to his leg and is limping at the moment and has taken a seat on the field, as Tielemans plays a through ball that will find Vardy, but Vardy just gets plowed through by Ben Mee. And Burnley will play the ball out for a throw-in, as Cornet has taken to the pitch. He's lying down, clutching his right thigh. It looks as though he will not continue in this game, which is rather unfortunate. It looks as though he might have just overextended his leg. He pulled up as he tried to catch that play. And it looks as though it looks as though Goodmanson might be coming off the bench for Burnley. The referee currently making some waving towards the Burnley technical area. And yes, Goodmanson has his kit on. Westwood conversing as well with Schmeichel and the referee, as the referee has waved on, I think, a medical team. Yeah, unfortunately, Cornet, after a very promising game and a beautiful goal, very visibly struggling physically. Kasper Schmeichel having some words with Cornet for coming back onto the field before he lays down. He's now getting into an argument with Wood. He's going to want to be careful here, not to get a booking for the dissent that he's showing towards some of these other players. Yeah, unbelievable that Vardy had an own goal in the first 12 minutes, but he did score a lovely equalizer to get us back into the game. And of course, like we said, this game is, of course, not over yet, as the broadcast is just showing a replay of Cornet's goal as he receives some treatment on the pitch. George Forty, we bought players that were never heard of and made them the players that they are today, and sold them to bigger clubs to help us build our new training ground and facility and our new stadium stand. Yeah, I know that there's a chant about the fact that it was Harry Maguire that paid for the Seagrove facility, and I don't necessarily think that's untrue. But yeah, to the people that were saying that we hadn't improved the starting 11 too much and we only improved our depth, again, I think it was because the depth was what sort of made us struggle towards the end of last season. And I think that was what we really needed to work on. We know, of course, King Power being a travel-oriented company, we didn't have the money needed to improve both our depth and our starting lineup. So ultimately, I think that our squad is in the best position that it could be, and it's just we're lacking individual performances from a few of the players. And of course, tactical changes need to be made from Brendan's end. I can now confirm that Burnley have made the substitution. Goodmanson is now on the field, and Cornet will no longer be playing a role in this match. Very bad news for Burnley there. But, of course, good news for Leicester City. Cornet was one of Burnley's biggest threats. Although, as I say that, Vidra gets the ball on a through ball into the penalty area. He's up against Soyuncu, but will not get his pass by him. And Soyuncu plays the ball well, forces a tackle, and that ball will go out of play for a Leicester City corner kick. We're already into the 47th minute. So both minutes of injury time have been played, but I imagine there will be some extra time because a minute and a half of those were taken by Cornet's injury. Leicester playing the ball, short passes around the back line, and Kasper Schmeichel plays a rather poor pass to Ndidi that will blast off of him and out for a Burnley throw in the attacking area, and Ndidi having some words with Schmeichel over that. Kevin Robinson saying Vestergaard is awful. I know we don't have money options at center back, but he's not good enough. He's different from a lot of the center backs that we have. I wouldn't call him awful. He's much better at defending set pieces than a lot of the defensive players that we've had, but what he lacks that our other center backs have is pace. It's been very easy for a lot of the players to get by him, and that's one of the things that's made us weak against this Burnley side, because Burnley are, Route 1 FC, them and, Sam Allardyce's West Brom were sort of the teams for playing like that. And Vestergaard, he's good for blocking lofted through passes, but if they play it along the ground, his pace can't compete with that of Vidra and Wood. We hit the 48th minute mark as Burnley get a corner kick. And they will take their time with this as they, of course, want to go into this with a lead. It'll be Dwight McNeil to play this cross in. No short passing available for them, as McNeil will play in a high ball, and that will go off the head of, I think, Wilfred Ndidi, but that will be half time. So the halftime whistle has been called, and it is Leicester City 1, Burnley 2. Just to update on that, yes, so the first goal was an own goal off of a corner kick. Jamie Vardy, unfortunately, heads the ball up and over Kasper Schmeichel at the near post for the first goal. Second goal has been scored by Maxwell Cornet. I believe this was his first start for Burnley, and unfortunately, a beautiful volley by Cornet will leave the score at 2-1 after a lovely through ball by Vardy did get us the equalizing. Mike Ruck, don't know if Leicester gives players the hairdryer treatment, but they should be embarrassed after that half. Yeah, it's a frustrating first half, and really the only way I could describe it is it hasn't been good enough by Leicester City. I will take a moment to put the link into the chat if any of you would like to join me at halftime and give me your views on that first half. Please do. I can see we have a few Burnley fans on here as well. You know what? I've put that link on there. I'm here as the Leicester City contingent. If you'd like to come on and give a Burnley view on that first half, please do. Just be kind and be tasteful. I would say we were the better side first half, but our shooting was terrible. In every Burnley attack, we look as though we were going to concede, but a great goal from Burnley. Yeah, I think we have to give full credit. Maxwell Cornet's goal was absolutely beautiful. It was very, very well taken. Yeah, our defense has been shaky. Burnley are trying to play the same way that we do. Good through balls, whereas we've been trying to play the ball along the ground. They've been playing the ball high and over, definitely taking advantage of Soyuncu's relative inexperience and Vestergaard's lack of pace. And they have been getting into very dangerous areas. The stats have almost all been in Leicester's favor. I'll do a quick rundown on that when I go through some of the other comments that have been coming in. Daniel Bradbury saying, get used to this. This is how the whole season is going to be. Brendan Rodgers definitely has to be feeling some pressure right now because he's been playing the same tactics day in, day out, and they aren't working anymore. So I don't know that this is necessarily going to be how the whole season is going to be, but if we don't see changes from Brendan Rodgers' tactics, it very well could be. Simon Batterby, get Barnes off and another striker on, another lethargic, shocking performance. Barnes has done well to get into space. I think he's been doing better than he has in some of the other matches, and I think he's been doing better than Madison has done in the last couple matches as well. But this goes into what I was talking about before kickoff, that we have Iheanacho and Daka on the bench. Players with pace, players with creativity, and players who can marshal those around them, especially Nacho. So I think we could easily see Barnes off, Nacho on at halftime. And frankly, I think if we don't see that change, Brendan Rodgers will have some questions to answer. Hassan calling for Vestergaard out. I'll bring back up the lineup in a moment. Would like to hear who you think you would bring on for that. Lee Hinton, don't deserve to be down. A few more goals in this game for sure. 3-2 win. I will be hoping for that. I'll never go into something predicting a Leicester City loss, so I'll go in with a 2-2 tie, but I will take a 3-2 win, absolutely. Evans needs to come on, definitely. He's one of those marshalling players for us in the back line. I would love to see him come on. It's just a matter of how his heel is doing, because if he's missing that pace, he could be just as bad as Vestergaard has been. Leo, I'm seeing you've tuned in. If you want to give me a thumbs up, I'll put you up on screen. Not a great first half.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Well, both goals are, we're unlucky to concede. The first one obviously being the own goal from the corner, and the second one being, there was a superb finish from corner. But, it doesn't really excuse the fact we are down to Burnley, and it isn't great.
Exactly. I've been seeing a lot of fans chiming in with their comments on how they would change things. I'm just going to take down that banner and put up the lineups again. So what do you think is going to be needed in the second half from this? So at the moment, I know we have a 4-3-3 here, but the graphic on from the Premier League did show a 4-2-3-1. So it had Lookman and Barnes sitting further back. Do you think we need to change the formation? Do you think we just need substitutions? What can get us back into this game?
Well, substitutions. Look, I think Barnes and Lookman, they both have been in the game. And Tielemans has as well. He made that superb. There's two superb passes he's done to Vardy. One of them was the assist, and the other one, Vardy, it was just before the own goal. He nearly headed it in. So I think first of all we should actually probably look at formation, and then maybe after 15 minutes or so, probably look at Iheanacho or maybe Madison. I don't know.
So if you were going to look at a change in formation, what kind of change would you be looking for? Maybe a front two instead of this sort of front half one, half three?
Yeah, well, I was really hoping for Iheanacho to start with Vardy, but it hasn't happened. Maybe move Samari out, bring Tielemans back, and put a front two up.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I always feel we're more dangerous when we get a Vardy and Nacho up front. So I think a change in formation, a substitution there. I think Barnes could be brought off. I don't think he's been as bad as some of the comments have been saying, but he definitely hasn't been in his form that he had last season. He hasn't been a game changer. And I think Nacho has been more influential.
I feel like Barnes has been a lot more positive than he was certainly last week against Brighton.
Fair. And I think we could then see maybe Lookman go back into midfield, play that more winger role. And I feel like he's still very good at sort of getting into those dangerous spaces from those positions. And I would feel very positive if we see that change come in.
Well, he seems to be all over the pitch, Lookman.
Exactly. I feel like I've seen him play center back, center forward, winger. Sumari as well has been doing a very good job of getting around the pitch as well. Like I said, I always felt that he was more of a bit of an Ndidi type role, the sort of center defensive midfielder, but I've been seeing him playing high. I've been seeing him playing back. I've been seeing him on the wing. Very versatile.
Yeah, I think he's a bit, I was gonna say this. Nifty, yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna let you go so I can make sure that I can get through a bunch of these comments as well. But just before I let you go, we're 2-1 down at halftime. What's your full-time prediction?
I want to be confident, so I'm going to say 3-2, but You know, if I'm being honest, I didn't really see us scoring one, but yeah, 3-2.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed for a 3-2. Thanks for coming on, and I hope I can get you on at full time as well. All right, let's go back through a few of these comments. This is one of the big things that Brendan does is he won't make a change until the 60th minute. We have seen him make some halftime substitutions as well. So it could go either way. I think we will likely see one change and then probably a second change on the 60th minute. He usually likes to save one substitution until about the 85th minute mark, like very late in the game. But I just don't think that the play that we've seen, the fact that our forward attack hasn't been coming through, isn't acceptable from Brendan. And I don't see him going in with the exact same team this time. Yeah, Daka, he's known for that explosive pace. Both him and Nacho, very, very pacey players. Daka, I'd say, has a little bit more creativity, whereas Nacho is much better at getting into space. So I think it's just going to be a matter of the tactics that Brendan wants to come out with. If he wants to maintain possession more, I think Daka would be the good substitution. If he wants to continue this through ball play, Nacho would be the better player. Andrew Mawson, seeing that you've come in, if there's any chance I could ask you to go camera on for me, that would be great. Oh, he's just come back out. It's no problem. CK, what is this goal kick routine all about? It gets us into so much trouble with stupid and risky passes. Vestergaard looks shocking. I don't rate him one bit. Again, it hasn't been a world-beating performance from Vestergaard this match. I think that he's getting a little bit of undue hate. I don't think that he's been that bad this match. I think it's ultimately just been that the player that he is, he's not set to play against this tactical setup that Burnley plays. These high lofted through balls get players in behind him because he doesn't have the pace that our other center backs do. And I completely agree that we've been trying to play narrowly from the back, but where Kasper Schmeichel is a good goalkeeper in terms of being able to dive in and make big saves, his distribution is one of his worst attributes. And one of the things that we've been seeing a lot is that when we play these short passes out from the goalkeeper, he sometimes plays the ball too hard and it will bounce off the player that it plays to. Ndidi was getting visibly frustrated with some of the times that was happening because Burnley is playing that high press. We end up getting into easy danger outside our penalty area off of possession that we've been having. And it's absolutely problematic. Ivan, I believe that we will score. I could see us getting back into this game if we make the right substitutions at the right time and we make the right tactical changes. If we come in with more of the same, we'll be very lucky to get back into this match. Nick coming in with a long comment. I think we've been playing okay and could have had 3 goals. Vardy is unlucky and could have had a hat trick for the wrong reasons. But you can't take anything away from that Cornet goal. Absolute class. The decisions are going against us, though. Come on, you Blues. Very fair points all around. It's one of those things where we've been in a very unlucky patch with the way the refereeing decisions have gone, the way that some of the plays have gone against us. But at the same time, there's places where we need to shore up. You need to be able to play when luck isn't on your side, and you can't blame that for when you find yourselves 2-1 down at halftime, find yourselves 1-0 down against Brighton, 2-1 down against Burnley. But I'll tell you what, I know we have a few Burnley fans that are coming in the chat. Full credit to you. Maxwell Cornet had an excellent first half. And I think it'll be key for you to make sure that pull-up that he had towards the end of the first half isn't going to be something that's going to see him out of your team for the long term. Because if it does, I think you could find yourselves in some real trouble. All right, a lot of comments coming in. We've been the better side. It's just that final ball again. Yeah. It's been one of those things where we've been making 90% of the play that we need to, but it's the last pass that comes across the penalty area or the last through ball that bounces off of Vardy or Lookman or Tielemans that just makes us unable to get that shot. However, I think we do have to give some credit to Burnley. Burnley, of course, are one of those defensive wall, solid back sides, and they've been playing very well defensively. They know how to get players like Tarkovsky, players like me, players like Taylor, into the places where they can intercept those final passes. And we need to find the right way to get past those players before we can start to get into those dangerous areas. Hassan coming in saying we should have gotten Tarkovsky instead of Vestergaard. I think it might have come down to the money. Because again, like we were saying, King Power would have been coming off of a rather shaky financial period, off of the COVID pandemic. We may not have had the money. Scoreline will be back when the second half starts. Yes. So because at halftime I'm going through mostly comments here, I will put the scoreline back on. But just to verbally update you all again, as it stands, it is Leicester City 1, Burnley 2. No point having pace with a Burnley defense of 9 players. Exactly. One of the things that we've been seeing a lot is that almost a style of play that you see more often, I feel, in the Bundesliga, is that Burnley are very good at maintaining their shape. It's 8 players in 2 rows of 4 that just move forward and back. So anytime they're coming up front, you'll find them playing 5, 6 players up front. Anytime you're defending against 8 players. And they've been doing very well at holding that shape and moving back and forth. Do you think we need to make a change to win this game? If so, what's the change? Yes, I absolutely think a change needs to be made. When I had Leo on screen, I think we were both in pretty close agreement as to what would need to be changed. I think we need to see Daka or Iheanacho come on, probably for Barnes. Not necessarily a penalty against Barnes for that happening, but I think we just need those fresh legs, and he's been the forward player that's been least impressive in this match so far. I think we need to switch to a front 2 instead of this sort of 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 type formation. We need to be going forward in numbers. And I think a front 2 of pacey players like Nacho and Vardy can make a difference like that. Jack maintaining his positivity, predicting us to score 8 goals this second half, come back 9-2. Hassan on the other end of the spectrum saying we could get thrashed here. But yeah, I think we could still get it. Sean Winters coming in with a 4-2 prediction. Kevin Robinson echoing what we've been saying. We need to go 2 up front. It works well. I don't get why Brendan doesn't start with 2 strikers again. It's one of those things where Brendan has his ways and he does his way. And it's very tough to get him to make... honestly, we don't see him play 4-3-3 that much either, because he loves that 4-2-3-1 formation and he loves to leave Vardy alone up front, but sometimes it just doesn't work, and this is one of those matches where it doesn't. And Neil Platter, to be honest, we just can't defend properly. It has been very shaky on the back. We haven't been setting up well to play against those lofted route 1 through balls that have been played. Again, credit where it's due to Wood and Vidra, who've been doing very well to get into space and collect those through balls when they're played to him. Ooh, a lot of comments coming in. Yeah, so this was sort of it. Max, I know you're a Burnley fan. You could only get Tarkowski if you gave 50 million. It's that English tax that English players cost more. So it would have cost us less to get Vestergaard versus Tarkowski, and we didn't have a massive transfer budget. Players are just coming back onto the field, and it looks as though a substitution is going to be made. And it's a defensive change, as Timothy Castagna is going to be coming on for Leicester City. Not yet seeing on the lineup who he is coming on for, but I would assume it will be for Bertrand. But I will keep you updated when I get the graphic up stating which that would be. Worrisome stuff. Leicester will be in 13th if we lose that match. We have kicked off the second half. Still Leicester City 1, Burnley 2. Bertrand's still on the field, so I assume he has come on for Pereira. But again, when I see that graphic come up, I will let you know who has come off. Burnley have possession back again as we get past the 45th minute. As I think that is, let me check who that is. That is Goodmanson comes forward, plays a long cross in, but Soyuncu will get in and make that header. So yes, Castagna is playing that right back row. Big collision that gives a free kick to Leicester City as Taylor just barrels over Lookman. So yes, the Leicester City change has been Pereira has come off and Castagna has come on. It looks as though there is no change to the formation and no change to the front line. Let me get the banner back up with the score as we have kicked back off. Burnley fans saying they will scrape through as always as Burnley come forward on the attack again. Ball currently in the area. However, his shot will go just wide. That was a shot, I believe, by Wood. Unfortunately, he just scuffs his lines, and that will just go maybe a few feet wide of the net. Schmeichel plays a long goal kick to Lookman. Too hard for him to collect, yet he maintains possession and plays the ball up to Soumare. Soumare maintains possession against Goodmanson. He plays the through ball to Vardy, who will collect it in the penalty area, and unfortunately his shot goes just wide. But a very, very good piece of through ball play. Jamie Vardy showing his pace again, stays onside, collects a great through ball pass, but unfortunately, the pressure from both me and Tarkovsky against him just managed to get him to force the ball wide. Very similar to the attack that we saw from Burnley on the other side of the field as well. And that will be a Burnley goal kick for Nick Pope to take. Yeah, if Burnley score early, game over, I would completely agree. I think we have to be very solid in this half. We cannot perform like we did in that first half. Goal kick is taken, and Soyuncu will play the ball off of Mate Vidra for a Leicester City throw-in. Helena Jones, no surprise for me. Yeah, a bit unsurprising that it's been a lackluster first half and Brendan Rodgers not making too many changes at halftime. I'd be willing to put some money down that we will see very likely some changes made around the 60th minute mark, because that's when Brendan loves to make changes. Harvey Barnes now has the ball on the left wing, played back and forth with Soumare, but he's forced to turn around and play the ball back to Soumare. Soumare will then play the ball back to Bertrand, and we are forced all the way back to our halfway lines, back and forth between Vestergaard and Bertrand. Bertrand holds the ball, play the ball to Soumare, who's now playing in the wing role. He will play the ball back to Bertrand, who will play the ball back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard plays the ball high and over, trying to find Castagna, and he does. Castagna will play the ball towards Vardy, who collects the ball in the penalty area. His shot is blocked by Tarkovsky, and that will be cleared out by Burnley. Again, nice through ball play. When we play the ball long and we play those long through balls, it seems as though we're getting into the attacking spaces faster than Burnley can regroup, but we're still trying that narrow passing, and it just leads to that back and forth short passing play that I know a lot of Leicester City fans are frustrated with. And again, that doesn't come off for us as Goodmanson intercepts. He's under pressure by both Ndidi and Bertrand, and Ndidi will make the tackle, play the ball up to Lookman. To Soumare. Soumare will play the ball up and over. He can't find Castagna, and that will be intercepted by McNeil. McNeil's pass back trickles, but will end up finding me. Ball is collected by Lookman, who marshals down his marker, and he has the ball. He gets into the penalty area, plays the ball across, and that will not find a Leicester City player, and it will be cleared out by Burnley. Will be collected for a throw-in that Soyuncu will take quickly. Plays the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans will play the ball over back to Castagna on the wing. Castagna will play across in. That will not find Jamie Vardy. It was well played to him, but looks as though that was either Taylor or me. I think that was Ben Mee will clear that ball out for another Leicester City corner. So a good positive start to this second half. We're definitely more threatening than we were in the first. My thoughts on the Cornet injury. I think that he was your best player on the field right now. So honestly, I have no ill will towards your team. I hope he's back soon, because you will need him to be. He's a game changer for you. Bertrand will take this corner and play it in high, and that will not find anybody. It will be headed over by the Burnley defense, and Soyuncu will try to let the ball roll out, and I think it does, and that is out for another Leicester City corner on the opposite side. Soyuncu having some words with the officials. I think that may have been called as having stayed in. It's called a throw-in for Leicester City instead of a corner, so that was why Soyuncu was frustrated there. Bertrand will take the throw-in, and he does find Soumare, but just barely. Soumare will play the ball to Ndidi, but unfortunately it will be a free kick as Westwood gets knocked over by Soumare as he tries to maintain possession, and that will be a free kick in the defensive third for Burnley. Just double checking again, no formation changes for either team. Broadcaster here in Canada still showing a 4-3-3 for Leicester, although that could be that 4-2-3-1, and Burnley still playing a 4-4-2. It's one of those similar things. I also don't like to see clubs getting into financial difficulties. Even some of Leicester City's biggest rivals, like Derby County, are on the cusp of it. They're in administration, could be struggling not to get liquidated. I don't like to see that happen to any team. Burnley currently attacking. McNeil has the ball in the penalty area. He will play the ball out by himself to the wing, although he does have support in the form of their left back, whose name escapes me at the moment, in the form of Taylor. But that ball will go out for a Leicester City goal kick. But again, very quick play being made by Burnley. They are going from their back line to their front line very quickly and basically just bypassing their midfield. And Kasper Schmeichel will punt that ball directly out of play for a Burnley throw-in. This was sort of what I was talking about with Kasper Schmeichel's distribution has not been great. And his short passes have been too powerful. His long passes don't find the player. And where he is a good goalkeeper in stopping shots from going in the net, he really gives us sort of one step forward, two steps back with his distribution that gives the ball right back to our opposition. With that, Taylor will play the ball out to, I think that's McNeil. Taylor then gets the ball back, tries to play the ball up and over to Vidra, but he will not get that ball to him past Soyuncu. McNeil has the ball up against Ndidi. He will play the ball off Ndidi for a throw-in. So again, Burnley currently pressuring. Yeah, while the ball is currently out of play, I think we can definitely give a lot of credit to Sean Dyche. I think it would be very easy for Burnley to be one of those sort of yo-yo clubs, even mid-table championship. But Sean Dyche, he knows how to be frugal and he knows how to get the most out of the players that he plays, and he keeps Burnley in the Prem. Burnley's player is knocked down, and Leicester City is not happy with that decision. McNeil falls down rather easily, and that will be a free kick in a reasonably dangerous area for Burnley, just inside the Leicester City defensive third. It's very, very mild contact by Lookman on, I think maybe on the side of McNeil's foot, but admittedly McNeil goes down rather easily for that. Why is Rodgers forcing Schmeichel to play out the back? It's criminal. Yeah, you would think at this point, like, he might even just say, you know, when it's a goal kick, play it to Vestergaard, and then Vestergaard, hoof it upfield. Free kick is going to be taken. I'll get back to the comments once it has been done. It looks as though McNeil is going to take it, and he does. Plays the cross in, and it is right into the hands of Schmeichel, who drops the ball, and that will fall to me. Me will play the ball over towards Goodmanson. Goodmanson plays the cross in. He is looking for McNeil, which he does find. He will hoof the ball up, and I'm not sure which Burnley player that was. Westwood, who will just fumble the volley, and that ball will go back to the midfield. But scary moments for Leicester there. High through ball will find Burnley's man inside the area. Shot is taken by Westwood. That will be blocked. Ball falls back to Westwood. Westwood to McNeil. McNeil to Vidra. Vidra gets past Ndidi. He's up against Soyuncu at the moment. He will play the ball back towards Westwood. Westwood will play the ball over towards Taylor. Taylor will try to find his man. He will not. It will fall to Ndidi. And now they're just holding possession, trying to get things to calm a little bit back down. Soyuncu will play the ball over towards Tielemans. Tielemans forced back to Ndidi. Ndidi playing very deep at the moment. Lookman holds the ball up against a lot of pressure from Taylor there. And he will play the ball over towards Bertrand. Bertrand has a little bit of space, and we're given a little bit of a chance to sort of regain our shape. And that ball is played forward towards Soumare, who will play it back towards Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball to Vestergaard, and we are back to that standard Leicester City back and forth between the defenders. Castagna will play the ball back to Soyuncu. Soyuncu, I bet he's going to play it to Vestergaard. No, he doesn't. He maintains possession and will play the ball up towards Ndidi. There has been a goal in Leeds versus West Ham. I'll give you that update on the next time the ball goes out of play. Vestergaard now moving forward a little bit of back and forth with Soumare, who will play the ball to Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball to Barnes. Barnes tries to make his way inside. He cannot, and he will play the ball back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard trying to find a pass, but he doesn't really have an avenue available, but he plays a high through ball that will find Castagna. Castagna then finds Lookman. Lookman plays a cross in. It will get into the area, but will not find anybody but Matt Lowton, who will head that ball out for another Leicester City corner kick. Let me get a quick update for you on Leeds versus West Ham. That is a West Ham equalizer. I can't get you the goal scorer, unfortunately, at the moment, but West Ham have equalized, and it is 1-1 against Leeds. It will be Bertrand to take this corner kick long. There is nobody there for a short pass. He will play it right up and into the penalty area, and that will not beat Burnley's defense, and Westwood will hoof the ball up and out, and it will fall to Vestergaard. VAR decision has turned down the West Ham goal, so it will remain 1-0 Leeds as Tielemans will find, that's Soyuncu playing as a winger, who will get the ball to Lookman in the corner of the penalty area. Burnley are back in numbers, but he will still find Barnes, who will take the shot, and he gets knocked down, and that ball will not go in the net. It was well blocked by James Tarkowski, who also knocks down Barnes. No foul is given. Ball to Tielemans. Tielemans plays the ball back to Bertrand. Bertrand finds Barnes. Barnes again marked by 3, 4, 5 Burnley players, and that is out. I will let you know if that is for a goal kick or a corner. Thank you very much for the compliment. Definitely love just being able to bring the game to you when I can. I think you're talking about HITC Sport. I do keep an eye on some of his videos. He's a good watch for a little bit of analysis. Doesn't give too much Leicester City analysis, though. All right, so this ball is currently out of play. Both managers are shouting some tactics to their players, and it is a goal kick, as it has been called, and Nick Pope will take his time. Plays the ball high and long out towards the left wing. He will find his man, and that ball will be with Vidra. Vidra will play the ball back down and is currently held by McNeil out on the wing under pressure by Tielemans. Tielemans gets some help from Castagna, and they will dispossess McNeil, and it is out for a Burnley throw-in. Burnley will take the throw, and it will go to McNeil. McNeil will play the ball back to the man who threw it into him, and that is back to the Burnley back line. Vardy up there giving some high press, but he's in alone doing that. And the high ball will find Wood. Wood will then find, it will be tackled and cleared by Soyuncu, but only as far as Matt Lowton. Matt Lowton then has a little bit of a back and forth, and that ball will fall to their midfield. Lowton back on the wing. He will get tackled by Soumare, but Soumare can't catch up to the ball as it will roll out of play for a Burnley throw-in just ahead of Johan Gudmundsson. We're coming up onto the 60th minute mark, so I think we can expect Brendan Rodgers to be making some changes soon. Camera just cutting to Cornet, who is on the bench at the moment, sitting with the other Burnley players watching the game. Again, I feel like a lot of Burnley fans will be hoping that it will just be a precautionary measure to take him off. Westwood goes down. No foul is given, and Leicester City will turn and try to attack. Through ball will find Vardy, who will use his pace to get past James Tarkowski. Tarkowski does catch up to him and gets his foot in, but Vardy will maintain possession. But Vardy's pass does not make it over to Ndidi, and Burnley will regain possession and play the ball over to Westwood on the right wing. Westwood up against Bertrand, gets past him, tries to play a through ball, but I think that is Mate Vidra is offside, and Leicester City will regroup for a free kick. How long have I been a Leicester City fan for? It's a bit of a tough question to answer. I'd say I've been like a dedicated, focused Leicester City fan since about 2015, 2016, but I've liked the team since about 2008. All right. At the moment, just a little bit of back and forth in the Burnley defensive third. Burnley are maintaining possession, though, and will play a high ball, trying to find Vidra. Will find him in front of Vestergaard. However, some lovely pressure from Wilfred Ndidi regains possession for Leicester City, and we try to come in on the attack. And a harsh challenge. I'm not sure who that was by, but absolutely takes the legs out of Yuri Tielemans. I think that was Westwood. Just kicks across the back of Tielemans' trailing leg, knocking his leg into the other one and just sending Tielemans hurtling to the floor. And that is a free kick for Leicester City and a booking for Westwood. Yes, I now can confirm from the graphic that that is a booking for Westwood. Looks as though Bertrand and Tielemans are standing over the ball. Tielemans will play the ball in. He cannot beat the second Burnley defender. However, that ball will fall to Soumare, who will play the ball back to Tielemans. Tielemans' pass doesn't find Bertrand, but he recovers the defensive play and will try to play the ball up to Vardy, but Burnley's defense will get there just ahead of it. Poor pass from Burnley gives the ball back towards Bertrand. Bertrand will find Tielemans on the edge of the area. Tielemans crosses the ball in. It will fall to Lookman on the edge of the area. He takes a shot and it's blocked. Ball will fall back down to Soumare. Soumare will play the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans, again, well marked. Three players blocking him. He will take a shot from distance, and that will go wide of the net for a Nick Pope goal kick. Max, so again, I know you're a Burnley fan. I think Deitch is also stubborn. He still sticks with a 4-4-2, even though most of the time it doesn't work. I think that's where both teams have a little bit of a relationship with each other. These are managers who are taking the teams to really new highs, but both teams very, very stubborn with their managers, and they won't make changes even when their tactics might not be working. Looks as though Bertrand will be taking this corner kick. Lookman is in there close in case they do decide to play it short, but they don't. Looking for Soumare. It goes over Soumare, Wood, and Lowton. Soumare will play the cross back in, tries to find Soyuncu behind Pope, but will not, as Nick Pope will collect that ball and hold it tightly in the penalty area. So I think he's going to try to hold a little bit of time there and take a calm and collected volleyed goal kick. Still no new substitutions to report on and no formation changes as we hit the 61st minute. Dwight McNeil holding possession for Burnley, forced to turn around and pass the ball to Westwood. Westwood will play the ball back even further to Ben Mee. Ben Mee tries a high ball that will not find anyone, and that is out for a Leicester City throw-in right on the border between our defensive third and our middle third. I'll tell you what, the change is happening as Sumare comes off and Kelechi Iheanacho is coming on. So that definitely has to come with a formation change as well, because I don't think we would be playing Nacho in the midfield. So maybe Lookman will be moving back into midfield if we are going to keep that front three. I will let you know if the graphic updates. So, of course, some people are talking about potential departure of Brendan Rodgers if this form continues. I haven't thought about a replacement yet personally because, again, I still like Brendan Rodgers. I still stand by Brendan Rodgers. I think we just need to – the board needs to convince him to be less stubborn. Neil Middleton, so frustrating watching us this season. Questionable recruitment this summer, taking us backwards, not improving the squad. But Nacho already making an impact as Lookman plays across through, trying to find Harvey Barnes, and does. He will header across, and Nick Pope just gets an outstretched hand to stop the ball from falling to Vardy with an open net. And they will regroup, and the ball currently with Burnley's defense. They will play a high ball that will not get past Ryan Bertrand, but Bertrand's header will then fall right back to Westwood. That ball from Westwood will then fall right back to Bertrand. Bertrand gets the ball to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes plays the through ball towards Vardy. But the Burnley defense will get there with a sliding challenge that knocks both the ball away and Jamie Vardy over. And that is the end of that attacking threat, as a high ball will come over and will just fall to the feet of Kasper Schmeichel, who will play it calmly to Yannick Vestergaard. We've only played one of the so-called Big Six teams so far. If we can't win against these lesser teams, we'll get slapped by the other big teams. Let's not forget that this is, albeit a little worse, similar to our form last season. We were dominating a lot of the other big teams. We had one of the best forms against the Big Six in the entire season. Just to also quickly say, Castagna putting some great high press in, forces Nick Pope to just punt the ball out beside his net for a corner kick. We're normally not that good against smaller teams. So I would say, like, some of our best performances, one of our best performances of the season was against Manchester City. And we just had some unfortunate decisions go against us that ended up leaving us with the loss there. It's not doom and gloom for Leicester yet. This is still worrying, and I think there's definitely cause for concern, but it's not time to get the pitchforks out. Bertrand plays the corner in, and Nick Pope will collect it with his hands and fall to the ground. Yeah, like I was saying, for some reason we play better against the quote-unquote bigger teams than we do against... Yes, I'll say I'm using lesser in terms of like the traditional sense, the way the media looks at teams, things like that. This is also one thing worth noting from Neil Middleton, as Burnley do come forward on the attack, but their through ball header will not get past Vestergaard. Vestergaard doesn't play the ball back towards Schmeichel. He'll play it to Tielemans, who will then play it to Schmeichel. James Justin is going to be a game changer when we can get him back into the team. I think it's easy to forget that he's such a big part of Leicester City's current progress, and he has been gone for such a long time. Also, not to mention our defensive woes, we're waiting for Fofana to come back. I think we could see a very different Leicester City squad come Christmas, should both of those players be able to come back. Yuri Tielemans forced to play the ball into touch under a lot of pressure from Dwight McNeil, and that is a Burnley throw-in near the middle of the pitch. Jack Crossgrove, we need Fuchs back. And Max, the Burnley fan, calling for Mourinho to come into Leicester. Honestly, I would say, if you want to talk about stubborn managers, you think Brendan Rodgers is a stick in the mud. Jose Mourinho. He's also not going to leave Roma. He's got backing from the board, chance to play in Serie A again. I don't see him leaving Roma anytime soon. Goodmanson under pressure from both Bertrand and Ndidi, or sorry, Bertrand and Barnes, forced to play the ball into touch. And my goodness, a big barreling challenge by Matej Vidra absolutely flattens Tielemans, and that will be a free kick to Leicester that we take quickly. A little bit of back and forth between Ndidi and Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball to Barnes. Barnes will play the ball back, and it's again with Vestergaard. Vestergaard will likely play the ball to Soyuncu, which he does. Soyuncu will play the ball back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard tries to find a way up the middle, doesn't find one, plays the ball back to Soyuncu. Soyuncu moving forward a little bit, gets past Wood, plays the ball to Lookman. Lookman has a quick back and forth with Castagna, gets into the penalty area, finds Nacho. He's in space, takes the shot. It will be deflected and into the waiting arms of Nick Pope. How long is left in this match? It is the 66th minute at the moment. So we will have 24 minutes left in this game if my quick math is correct. Jack Cosgrove calling for a return of Claudio Ranieri. And Daniel Bradbury losing Morgan and Fuchs is a big blow to the mentality in the dressing room. That's also very fair. Is those sorts of like, for lack of a better term, elder statesmen, people who really know the club, who have been here for a while, and the sort of like older, calmer faces who can marshal the side even if they're not necessarily on the pitch. Burnley still pressing, ball with Vestergaard out near the corner, under pressure by Vidra. Still makes his pass, will make it to Iheanacho, albeit under pressure from Westwood. Nacho will play the ball to Ndidi, who gets very harshly tripped by Goodmanson from the back. Again, just a kick to the trailing leg sends Ndidi tumbling. Looks as though Goodmanson is getting called back. Might just be a warning, could be a booking. I will keep you posted on this. Yeah, he said, yep, the card is out, and the substitute for Burnley, Johan Goodmanson, has been booked. Again, just for a swiping leg that will hit the trailing leg of Ndidi, sending him tumbling to the ground. Vestergaard, he'll play the ball backwards, and that goes to Chalar Soyuncu down near the middle line. I apologize for my tones dropping a little bit, but it's just a lot of just playing the ball, small passes around the back that don't really get progress. But now we play the ball upfield, and the ball goes to Lookman. Lookman is under pressure from Brownhill, but he will still get the ball to Iheanacho. Iheanacho gets tackled, but Ndidi will collect. He fakes shot, will pass the ball to Barnes. Barnes is inside the penalty area. He'll find Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball across goal, and nearly that gets to Castagna. Castagna gets knocked over, appealing for a penalty. No call from the referee at all. And Burnley then coming in on the counter-attack. Vidra will get knocked down by Vestergaard. No call that way either. And Ndidi will recollect the ball, and we will try to get back on the attack near the halfway line. Still a lot of players in the Burnley defensive third, both blue and white shirts alike. Bertrand and Ndidi passing the ball back and forth. Soyuncu passed to him, overshot a little bit, and right in front of a screaming Sean Dyche, he will play the ball forward a little bit. Goal in Leeds versus West Ham. I'll give you an update on that next time ball goes out of play, as Nacho and Tielemans have a little bit of a back and forth. Ball goes back to Nacho on the edge of the area. His shot from distance is blocked. Ball will go back to Tielemans. He'll head the ball back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard one-time pass to Bertrand. Bertrand will collect the ball, hold pass to Barnes. Barnes has some space on the wing, but he is well marked and covered. He will try to get past his man. He doesn't, but he makes the pass to Ndidi. Ndidi up and over, tries to find Castagna. He will not, and that will be headed out by Brownhill. Brownhill will get the ball, but his header only finds Tielemans. Tielemans finds Castagna on the wing. Castagna over to Lookman. Lookman plays the ball back to Castagna. Castagna will likely cross from here. He tries to play it low towards Barnes. Will not get past Taylor. And that ball is out for a Leicester City corner kick. They're just showing a replay of the alleged penalty. It was a very light contact. I'll admit that if that was going the other way, I would be very upset if that ball had gone in. Just as the corner is taken, Bertrand plays the ball in. It will not find anybody, Leicester or Burnley alike, and that will go out for another Nick Pope goal kick. Ian Quinn, absolutely, we need a goal here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Leicester make their third substitution coming soon. Just showing another replay of the trip on Castagna. Looks as though it might have been as McNeil tried to play the ball. He may have kicked the underside of Castagna's foot, but again, I'll admit the contact was quite light there, as Nick Pope will take his time setting up this goal kick. Can confirm a Junior Firpo own goal has leveled the scores in Leeds, and it is Leeds 1, West Ham 1. And another goal has been scored in Watford versus Newcastle as the goal kick is taken. Vestergaard collects, and as the next at the next break in play, I will update you on that, as Ndidi plays the ball over towards Lookman on the wing. Lookman plays the ball back towards Ndidi. Ndidi tries to make his way up the center. He'll play the ball across to Bertrand. Bertrand will play the ball over to Barnes. A lot of space on the left wing at the moment that Barnes will run into. Burnley regaining their shape as Barnes will play the ball over towards Tielemans. Tielemans plays the ball up and over, trying to find Iheanacho, but good defending from the Burnley center defenders, who will just chest the ball down and calm things for a moment for them. Ball is now back to Vestergaard. Vestergaard will play the ball over towards Tielemans. Tielemans making his way up towards the Burnley defensive third. Lookman gets tripped, and that is a free kick to Leicester City, which Dwight McNeil will protest profusely. And as that free kick gets set up, let me quickly check Watford versus Newcastle. So it is an equalizing goal for Watford. I do not yet have a goal scorer to update you on that yet, but at Vicarage Road, it is Watford 1, Newcastle 1. Everton-Norwich remains 1-0. Bertrand and Tielemans standing over this free kick. Looks as though Bertrand will be the more likely one to take it. It is a one-man Burnley defensive wall. It is well outside the penalty area, so it is just going to be crossed in. Bertrand runs over the ball, so it will be Tielemans to play the ball in. Chipped ball will not get past the Burnley defense, but Tielemans will collect the rebound and get the ball towards Lookman on the wing. Lookman will play the ball back towards Tielemans. Tielemans will try to find... he tries to find a Leicester City player, but it will bounce off of them and then out, and it will go over towards Castagna. Yes, Fee, like I was mentioning, so the West Ham scorer was a Firpo own goal for against Leeds. Cross played in, will find Vardy, but he can't control the ball. He just gets it into the outside of his foot, but the ball doesn't bounce well for him underneath, and that will trickle out for another Burnley goal kick. I'm just going to take a quick look at the stats here again. So Leicester City maintaining a perfect 2/3 of possession, 19 shots to 7. 3 on target to 2, both in favor of Leicester City. 476 passes to 243 in favor of Leicester. 84% passing accuracy to 70% for Leicester as well. As looks as though Burnley might have another injury to reckon with. Players on the ground, and looks as though there might be a substitution being made. Looks as though Brownhill is getting some tactical updates from the Burnley coaching staff. As well, looks as though there might be another change being made. I will keep you posted on that. It's Mate Vidra who had taken to the ground, and it was a Burnley player whose name starts with B who might be getting brought on. So that might be Bardsley, could be Barnes. I think most likely Ashley Barnes might be getting brought on for Mate Vidra, who looks hurt. Fee, thank you for that update as well. So it's Ismaila Sarr who has scored the equalizing goal for Watford at Vicarage Road. And yes, so it will be a substitution. Mate Vidra is off the field, and Ashley Barnes will be replacing them. So it is going to be the battle of the Barnes between Ashley and Harvey on the pitch today. That is one thing that I do find a little bit interesting, is that neither Barnes for either team has a letter on the back of their jersey. There's no H Barnes or A Barnes. They both just say Barnes. As the non-cycling GK, Nick Pope, lines up to take this goal kick. 75 minutes have been played, so we are getting into the last 15 minutes plus injury time. Goal has been scored in Everton versus Norwich. I will update you on that on the next break in play. As Ademola Lookman does a lovely job, Lookman. Lookman does a lovely job holding possession on the right wing, and the ball will go over to the left wing as Harvey Barnes gets past his man and gets knocked down by Matt Loughton, but I'm not sure if a free kick has been given. Both Loughton and Barnes look frustrated with the referee's decision there, so I'm not sure which way that went. Looks as though if there was contact, that would have been very light, and no free kick has been given, and the ball will trickle out for a Burnley goal kick. Max, so I'm actually from Canada, and in Canada, the official broadcaster of the Premier League is an online streaming service called DAZN. So that's what I'm watching the game on personally. I know it's difficult because I can't tell you how to watch it in the UK, but that's how I'm watching it on my end here. Fee, thank you for the update. So Doucouré has scored a second goal for Everton. So at Goodison Park, it is Everton 2, Norwich City 0. As Leicester City forced to play the ball back towards Schmeichel, who will play a high goal kick towards Barnes, but that will not find him ahead of Loughton. Loughton will play the ball over towards Goodmanson. Goodmanson plays the ball back towards Brownhill. Brownhill under pressure by Barnes. Barnes gives him a little bit of a hip barge, and that will be a free kick as Westwood goes down clutching his foot. And it looks as though Harvey Barnes will be the next player to enter the book. Free kick was taken ahead of when it was allowed, and the ball is thrown back as Westwood is still on the ground. Just seeing a replay at the moment here. Oh, okay, yeah, so it looks as though not intentional, but as Harvey Barnes goes in for the barge against Matt Loughton, his foot just comes over the top and just gets down right on the bridge of Ashley Westwood's foot. Substitution is now being made. Adamola Lookman comes off for James Madison. So that is another change to those front three for Leicester City. Madison will now be looking to make an impact and sort of prove why he deserves a position in the starting lineup again, and will have 15 minutes to do so. Matt Loughton will take this free kick. It is in the middle third, so there's not going to really be a big challenge as they play in a good high cross that will find the header of the Burnley man. Goodmanson almost gets to the ball ahead of Schmeichel, but Schmeichel just gets a palm to it to get it up and over Goodmanson, and he will then collect the ball in his arms and play a rolled ball out towards Soyuncu. Soyuncu will hold the ball under pressure, and he will get the ball towards Madison, and Madison immediately gives the ball away. He then also gives away a free kick to Burnley, but Burnley will play advantage, but their long pass will not go to anyone, and it goes out for a Leicester City throw in the defensive third. Do I still stand by the 3-2 prediction? I'm not going to say we're going to lose, but I'm going to knock it down to a 2-2. I think we can equalize. I don't know if we have it in us to win. Jack Cosgrove thinks that was the wrong substitution. I know a lot of people are not fans of James Madison at the moment, but you know what? He's on the field. Let's support him while he's on the field and hope that he can get a good goal. Jack standing by his 9-2 prediction. Always good to see that positivity. Soyuncu currently holding the ball, passing it over to Yannick Vestergaard. Vestergaard will play it upfield towards Bertrand. Bertrand will play it over towards Barnes, but Barnes forced to face backwards. Barnes will play it back towards Bertrand, who will play it off of Goodmanson for a throw-in. They look to play the throw-in quickly. However, they can't as he doesn't really have an option of who to play it to. He's forced to play it back towards Vestergaard. Vestergaard will get the ball over towards Ndidi and back to Vestergaard. A lot of just back and forth in Leicester City middle third and the back third. Ball is played over towards Ndidi, who will try to play it upfield. It will fall to Madison. Madison will play the ball up to Castagna on the wing. A little bit of back and forth play back to Madison. Madison will hold the play up, play the ball over towards Tielemans. Tielemans will play it up to Castagna. Castagna will play across him, but that will not get past Charlie Taylor, and that is out for a Leicester City throw-in right by the corner flag. He will take it quickly and play the ball to Tielemans. Tielemans back to Castagna. The Belgian connection working together. Back to Tielemans. Tielemans, I think he was hoping to get across in there, but just didn't have an option. He's forced to play it short towards Ndidi. Ndidi will play the ball to Vestergaard, who's playing very high up the pitch. That will go towards Barnes. Barnes tries to find some space. He can't get into the penalty area, but plays a cross in. That will not beat the Burnley defense, and it is headed up and out by Josh Brownhill. That will fall to, I'm not sure who that fell to, but that was a very long ball, trying to find either Barnes or Vardy, but unfortunately it will go over everybody. Rogers will applaud the attempt there, and that will go out of play for another Burnley goal kick. 10 minutes remain in this match plus injury time. There's a lot going on. I do gotta take a moment to breathe. Have some water. Camera's currently just showing Lookman on the bench watching the play rather adamantly. One of the things that I do like is that, like, even for a lone player, you can see that he really cares about the team. He's a real team player. Ball currently in the midfield, held by Tielemans. He gets knocked down. Ball goes to Dwight McNeil. McNeil will try to play a through ball, and I think there's appeals for a handball that won't be given, and Leicester will regain possession. Tielemans will play the ball over to Castagna and back to Ndidi. Ndidi forced to play the ball back towards Schmeichel. Schmeichel will play it over towards Yannick Vestergaard, and we still are just playing short passes in our defensive third towards Bertrand. Bertrand will try to move the ball forward and will only find Matt Loughton. Loughton now starting a Burnley attack. Goodmanson and Loughton trying to play a little bit of back and forth that works out for them. But a little push to the back by Ndidi will force Loughton to just kick the ball out of play, and that will be out for a goal kick for Leicester City. Thank you very much, Fee. And much like you're saying, I'm hoping, Beamer, that this will end up 2-0. Fingers crossed. Kevin, Brendan is clueless. Why would you bring off Lookman when he was our best player? It might be a stamina thing. A little bit of promising play from Leicester City here as Jamie Vardy has the ball up on the wing. He'll play it back to Madison. Madison on the corner of the area sends the Burnley player to the ground, maintains possession. We'll play the ball back towards Vardy. Vardy will play the ball across the area, but will only hit Ben Mee. He will recollect the ball near the corner, but let the ball roll out for a Leicester City corner kick. Thank you all for the compliments. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for continuing to participate and getting your views and comments in, especially during this match while I'm hosting solo. Always great to have you guys as my co-host. Ian Acho will have the ball as it's played short. Madison will then recollect his. Tielemans with the shot, and that is blocked. Nick Pope thought that ball was heading towards goal. He dove to the ground. 2-2, I mean. I would love to see a 2-2. But at the moment, it does still remain 2-1. I bet you're shattered after this. Good job, though. Appreciate it. Definitely not the result that I'm hoping to see, but match is not over yet. We will definitely be hoping to see another goal. It's just showing the attempt stats on screen right now. 20 attempts on goal for Leicester to 7 for Burnley, as Madison will play the corner short to Tielemans. Tielemans will play the ball back to Madison, who then plays the cross in. He will not find a Leicester City man, but it will fall to Tielemans on the outside of the area. His shot is blocked. That ball will go out towards Castagna, who will play the ball over to Soyuncu. Soyuncu will play a high ball in. Will go over everyone. It will fall to Jamie Vardy, who will play it across the area, and Ben Mee is in there across the goal and will punt it up and over the net for another Leicester City corner. Ooh, Jamie Vardy having a discussion. I'm not sure if that was with the official. It might have been an offside. I was called offside, unfortunately, for that. So that will not be a Leicester City corner. That will be a Burnley free kick. And Vardy with some choice words for the linesman there. From my lip reading ability, that is something that I cannot tell you on a family channel. I will take a quick moment just to say, if you haven't, please drop a like or share or subscribe on this video. Helps us grow the channel and get it into the hands of more Leicester City fans. And even some of the fans of the opposing teams. Lovely to have some of the Burnley fans joining us here as well. Just great to be sharing the Leicester City football matches with all of you. So if you haven't, please like, share, subscribe, and help us get to some more fans all around the world. Yeah, Tom, also another one of the great commentators. He was one of our, he and Locks hosted most of the matches for last season. Possession currently with Leicester City in our defensive third. Bertrand will play the ball via Barnes up to Iheanacho, who gets a through ball to Vardy. Nick Pope is out of his net. Vardy is there. The net is empty, and that is the equalizer. And it is Leicester City 2, Burnley 2 in the 85th minute. And I will tell you what, Fee, you were right. That is Leicester 2, Burnley 2. Let me get a little goal video for you as Vardy points to his... They say that foxes never quit, and right at the death there. That was a fantastic through ball. And that is the Jamie Vardy of 2-3 years ago that we have been wanting to see back. The through ball, he was playing right on the shoulder of James Tarkowski. He's going to be annoyed with himself for the fact that he played Vardy onside, but he can't keep up with that pace. And that suddenly is the equalizer. And there's points to be had for Leicester now. However, Burnley are not going to take the sitting down. Goodmanson has the ball on the edge of the area. I think he played that to McNeil. McNeil will play it back to Goodmanson. That ball will be taken by Goodmanson out towards the wing. Plays it to Loughton. Loughton plays across, and that will find a Burnley head, but right into the open arms of Kasper Schmeichel. An 85th minute goal to report on you as well. For the Watford versus Newcastle match, Watford have completed the comeback. Josh King with the goal in the 86th minute to give them the lead, as Wilfred Ndidi holds the ball and will play it back to Soyuncu. It's anyone's game now at this point, as both teams are still trying to press forward and get attacking chances. Harvey Barnes on the wing will play the ball over towards Nacho. Nacho forced to turn around, but gets himself back facing goal. He tries to play a lofted ball over towards Barnes, but just overcooks it a little bit. And unfortunately, that will go into the arms of Pope. Don't do that to me, Jack. I got the game live here. I can tell if you're lying to me. Fee with another £1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. Always appreciated. Lovely to see some people supporting the channel. Thank you so much. If you ever get the chance to give us a super sticker, always appreciate it. Bayamir. So the second goal for Leicester City, 3 goals scored by Jamie Vardy, 1 in our net and 2 in Burnley. So Jamie Vardy, both goals for Leicester City so far. Like Jamie says, if you can't win, don't lose. You know what? I'll tell you what. Jamie, for once, gave us a prediction that wasn't a Desmond, and now we're set up for one. So I think we might have to talk with him to predict some more Desmonds so that we might be able to get back to winning ways. All right. I love this. The pub hat trick. Exactly. Does he still get the ball? I don't know if he'll want it, but who knows? There's still 2.5 minutes plus injury time left. There's time for Vardy to earn the ball the right way. Burnley currently have possession, but Ryan Bertrand intercepting the pass, getting the ball to Ndidi, who gets yanked down by Ashley Barnes. I almost called him Harvey Barnes because I'm used to seeing Barnes on the back of a shirt. And that is a free kick to Leicester City. Tielemans currently with the ball, plays it over to Barnes on the wing. Barnes making his way inside. He does manage to get past both Lowton and Goodmanson, but unfortunately the ball will trickle up and over him, and Nick Pope will let that roll out for a goal kick. So both teams have made 3 changes so far. Neither formation has changed, so nothing new tactically to report, as I will make like Sean Dyche just did on camera and have some water. It'd be some nice redemption from the first half if Vestergaard were to score the winning goal. We would love to see it. All right, goal kick played high. Chris Wood trying to play the ball after getting knocked down and nearly manages it, but indeed he does dispossess it. His cross falls off of Ben Mee, but will still land at Nacho. Nacho nearly gets the chance to play in Vardy, but some lovely defending by the central midfielder. I didn't catch the name that will stop that through ball from going through. Goodmanson gets knocked down by a sliding challenge by Ndidi that will give a free kick to Burnley that they will take their time with taking in the Burnley half in the middle third, just by the center circle. Yeah, they're going to let Nick Pope take it, so they are definitely taking their time. How long is left? We have just entered the 89th minute, so there will be 1 more minute plus injury time. When that graphic comes up or I get the chance to see the 4th officials board, I will let you know how many added minutes there will be. But we are into the last minute of regulation time here at the King Power Stadium. Burnley take the free kick, and that will only find the header of Timmy Castagna. Castagna will head that ball over towards Ndidi. Ndidi plays the ball to Madison, who does very well to dribble past 2 Burnley players, gets tripped twice, and now it is a free kick. James Tarkovsky clips him once, and Madison manages to get up, continue running, and then gets knocked down by him again. Sorry, it was a Brownhill the first time. And there has been a booking for that. James Tarkovsky will get that for the second challenge. Free kick is taken, and that will go back and forth between Barnes and Bertrand as we have hit the 90th minute mark. The board is up, indicating that there will be 4 more minutes. So this match is not over yet. Yes, and as well, thank you for that update, Fee. Scores remain in all of the other matches so far as they all head into injury time. Ball goes out for a throw-in. Getting a nice close-up shot of Yannick Vestergaard running. It will be a Burnley throw-in just in between the middle third and the Leicester defensive third. Throw-in is taken, tries to get the ball to Ashley Barnes. James Madison making a tackle, but they do maintain possession. Ashley Barnes will get into the penalty area. He goes down. No appeals for a penalty. Looks like a fair challenge. Through ball towards Vardy will not get to him. And Nacho will try to pressure Ben Mee, but will not stop him from making his pass. And Burnley trying very quickly to get the ball back up, but sweeper keeper Kasper Schmeichel comes forward and plays that ball over. A lot of back and forth and losing possession here as Chalar Soyuncu intercepts a poor pass from Burnley. And now Jamie Vardy holds the ball in the front third. He'll play it over towards Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes will get the ball. He's trying to play it. He plays it in towards the center towards Yuri Tielemans, but unfortunately, Tielemans' through ball to try to get a crossing opportunity for Ryan Bertrand is too overcooked, and that is out for a goal kick. A draw feels like a loss. It's rough to take. I think we'll definitely get to talk about that more when we get into full time. You Burnley fans in the chat as well. I'm going to put the link in there. And if you want to give us some Burnley post views as well, would love to hear from you as well. But again, like I said, this match is not over until the referee blows a whistle. So let's not call it a draw quite yet. As well, just a quick thanks to Fee as well. Thank you so much for holding things down in the chat as well. Yuri Tielemans on the ground. It is a free kick to Leicester City. And it looks like everyone in the kitchen sink is moving forward. Tielemans is now the last man before Kasper Schmeichel as he takes the free kick, plays it high, tries to find, it was Yannick Vestergaard in the area, but it is up and over his head and Nick Pope's goal kick to take. There has been an 89th minute goal in Leeds versus West Ham. I'm going to see if I can get an update here from my feed. So just so you know, so I have the game up, Leicester City, and then just on Google, I have all the other scores, and they're a little bit slower to get the update. It is a Michael Antonio 90th minute goal that has now given West Ham a lead coming into injury time against Leeds. Goal kick is taken. It is Soyuncu who will battle for that ball, but Burnley do come up with the ball. Burnley come up with a free kick, and I'm sure that they will take their time with this, as Chris Wood will throw the ball over for the free kick to be taken. Completely agreed. If we want to be taken seriously as a top 6 challenger, we need to be beating teams like Burnley at home. If you want to be placing 4th, 5th in the league, you need to be beating all of the teams beneath you in the league at home. Burnley play the ball short, and that will be headed away by Yannick Vestergaard and collected by Ndidi. Ndidi tries to play past Goodmanson, but can't, and Goodmanson will get his cross in. That will fall to the head of Vidra, but blocked by Soyuncu, as the ball will end up with Goodmanson on the edge of the area. He will dance past a couple Leicester City players and make the pass. That ball is headed up in the penalty area. I can't see any names at the moment, but Burnley have headed the ball into the net. There are appeals for offside. However, I have not seen indication that it was offside yet. It is a headed goal by Chris Wood at the death. This likely could be reviewed by VAR for offside, but as it stands, the Burnley players are still celebrating. We're seeing the replay at the moment. As the cross gets played in, just seeing the replay here, that could be called off for offside. Chris Wood offside by a shoulder and an arm there. Will remain to see if this gets reviewed, and I think there will be some comments to be made if this does not get reviewed at all. Just a more high definition view of things there. I'm biased, obviously, but it looks as though that would be a narrow offside decision as Wood plays the ball off of the post and in. Is this going to be reviewed? I'm not sure. Yes, that goal has been called off. I can announce that has been reviewed. It has been declared offside. No goal for Burnley at the death. And that was the last kick of the game, that free kick. And that is full time at the King Power Stadium. It is a point for Leicester and a point for Burnley. Full time, Leicester City 2, Burnley 2. I would say that it is a frustrating game for Leicester at this moment. I think both teams could have come out of this thinking that they should have gotten the win. It was a really hard-fought match. But ultimately, again, I think there's questions that need to be asked by Leicester City. Given our ambitions in this season, I don't think a draw is going to be something that fans will have wanted to take away here. Let me put in the link. Would love to be joined by some of you for your post-match comments. Any of you, Leicester or Burnley alike, please get your views in. Come join me live. We'll do probably about a half an hour of post-match discussion, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Israel Alfaro, I think that might be the opinion of many Leicester City fans, especially for the fact that at the end of the day, a lot of us went into this game expecting a win. Some of us went into this game expecting a big win. Tobias, definitely seeing you sharing your thoughts as a Burnley fan. What were your expectations coming into this game as well? Like, do you feel good coming out of this with a draw? If you get the chance, please come in with a. Please click on the link. Join me. Would love to get your thoughts as well. LCFC Gray, we got a draw. And this massively feels like a loss from Kevin Robinson. I think a lot of us are definitely feeling like that because, again, we had big expectations coming into this season. We felt like we had improved our squad well, but tactically, we just don't seem like we're there. And again, it's been another one of those matches where we feel like we come in well, and then we don't perform in the first half. We leave ourselves vulnerable. We give away a goal like we did. And then the second half is not enough time for us to come back and win a match. Oh, goodness, a lot of comments just came in there. I was trying to click this one. Does Vardy get to keep the match ball? So for those of you who didn't get the chance to see the full game updates, so this did end 2-2 between Leicester City and Burnley. Jamie Vardy scoring both of Leicester City's goals, as well as an own goal for Burnley, the opening one off of an unfortunate header from a corner. Simon Batterby, lucky to finish in the top 10 this season. Something is not right with this team. And Adam Tucker, if Brendan doesn't start with Nacho and Vardy next game, there is something wrong. Yeah, a lot of us have been pretty frustrated with the fact that Lookman wasn't getting a look in, and that Vardy and here we go. Phil, I believe you were at the King Power today. How are you feeling?
Yeah,
pretty frustrating draw. Getting by.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we made them look. We made them look good, didn't we, Elijah? They're a pretty average side, very poor side, and we had a lot of shots, but a lot off target. And to be fair, I think Burnley, I don't know what it was like you watching on TV, but it was frustrating again. Don't know why he took Lookman off. Most of the crowd booed that decision. But first time I can really remember Brendan Rodgers' decisions being booed.
Yeah, your signal's a little bit spotty, but just to comment on what you mentioned there, absolutely, I'm confused by the Lookman decision as well. He looked to be one of our brightest players on the pitch, and of all things, to bring him off for Madison. I mean, again, Madison's a good player, but he didn't bring the same impact that I feel a fresh set of legs should have.
It's strange, isn't it? You sort of, I guess he's brought Madison on to try and create a goal, and I guess you could sort of argue it perhaps worked, but I don't know. They're just Burnley are not a good side, Elijah. They're not doing very well, and I think we made them look quite good.
And we were describing this match in the lead up to it as a must win. Do you think Brendan Rodgers is now going to be feeling some heat under his collar?
Maybe, like I say, first time I think I've ever really heard Brendan Rodgers' tactics, i.e. his substitution there, getting such a big boo. In fact, most people in the ground boo. Again, it is going to put pressure on him. There's times where, I mean, I don't know, Elijah, again on the TV, whether it comes across, but some of Casper's passing around at the back and distribution was really poor. And it's obviously
Phil, we're losing you a little bit.
Sorry, mate.
It's all good. Just a couple quick things because I do also have a couple other people that are coming
Elijah.
in. It's all good. But yeah, Casper's distribution has been troubling. It was troubling last season, and it's continuing this season. And ultimately, I worry because of what Brendan's tactics are. It might be time to start rotating the keeper. It might be time to start giving Ward some game time, if for nothing else, for his distribution. All right, Phil, I'm going to let you go, unfortunately, due to your signal. But
again, Elijah, I could almost guarantee you that is not going to happen.
Of course.
Yeah, I guarantee it won't, Elijah. He'll stick with Casper. Casper's one of these players who his name is on the team sheet when he wants it to be, I think.
Fair.
Anyway, Elijah, I'll let you crack on. Thanks for doing a great watch along. I'll let others get their views in. It's just really disappointing.
Totally. Totally. Well, thank you for coming on, Phil. All right, so Ross and Fee, I'm seeing you both in there. Ross, I'm going to have you on first, and then Fee, I'll let you in after, okay? All right, Ross. Frustrating match.
You can say that again, that's for sure. Very frustrating. I would say there. I mean, it was unfortunate with Vardy. I mean, I don't know why Vardy was back there in the first place, but it's one of them things that has happened. But he made up for it with his goals, and they were very good, well taken goals from Jamie Vardy. People say, "Oh, he's lost it now" and all that, but that just shows that he still has it. The way that he took the first goal, brilliant. The second goal, I was even better. I think the way he took that goal was, round the keeper, left foot as well, fantastic. But what annoys me today, and this is going to be my rant, and won't take long. It's not the team. It is disappointing, but the fact that there were empty seats in the 70th minute really annoyed me, because the fact is, you pay to go and watch your football team. Why would you go and pay to leave for the 20 minutes to go? What, to beat 5 minutes of traffic? It really gets under my skin, and I'll rant this, and people can come on and say, "Oh yeah, but I'm going to get home and stuff." Yeah, but it's a Saturday. Of course, there's going to be traffic and stuff after the game, and it really winds me up. 72 minutes in, you're 2-1 down. You need to egg your team on, and all they're bothered about is when their tea's going to come at 6 o'clock and stuff. It really gets under my skin, the fact that it's not just Leicester, all fans doing it. It just frustrates me. The fact is that 72 minutes in, empty seats from the West Stand, as you can see, I wouldn't say loads of empty seats, but like you can see loads of spots of seats empty because people are leaving early. Why would you pay to go to a football match to leave early? I don't get it. But end of the day though, people, right. So this is they missed the goal. So it's their fault they missed the goal. If people can, it's up to them if they understand they pay the ticket, and everything, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you go and support your football team. And at the end of the day, you go and pay to see your football team. Even if you're 4-0 down, 5-0 down at half time or whatever, you still go and stay there until the end, because you never know what happens in football. And it just winds me up. The fact is, you see them seats empty, and it just gets on my nerves. I don't know about the other parts of the ground, so obviously you couldn't see it because of the camera. But from what I see, it's just annoying. I'm just looking at these now. Yeah, CK's just put it best. It's always been the case when we're losing. Yeah, exactly. It might not just be. It might. It's only a small minority before anybody jumps under say, "Oh, this and that." It just really gets under my skin when you're 2-1 down at home and there's empty seats. You go and support your team, egg the boys on to go and get a result, get a goal, or at least get a last-minute winner, or anything like that. It just really annoys me, and I'm going to get going in a sec, but I just wanted to get that off my chest, because it honestly, I was watching that game, and when I saw it, I was just like, are you kidding me? Why is there empty seats? End of the day, you go to a football game, you should know what to expect when the game's over. There's going to be traffic after the game. End of the day, what you're going to rush home to. If you're going, I can understand, obviously, if you're going to like a wedding or something like that, can wait and stuff. You go to watch a football team. You go to watch your team. You go and watch until the 90th minute, boom, you're going. That's it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I'm exactly the same. I come from Sheffield. When I go to a Leicester game, even if we're 3-0 down or whatever, I still wait until the final whistle. Even if you're 4-0 down. I mean, I've seen us lose 4-0 to Chelsea and 5-0 to Villa, and I stayed there till the end. And look at Southampton fans. When we beat them 9-0, credit to the fans that stayed. Credit to them that stayed when they lost 9-0. I will always credit them for that. So anyone that's watching, why would you pay to go home early? Well, that's what really, really annoys me. So
I think like a good way to close off on that is like it gets similar here as well. Like here in Toronto where I live, all of the stadiums are in the city center, so traffic gets really bad, and every one of our teams has that problem. But we love to have the badge on our chest, and we say things like "Foxes never quit" when we feel like the team has let us down. But let's not forget that when you wear this kit, you're part of the team. So and just as much as that, like we need to make sure that the fans are there for the team when they need them.
Exactly. If you look back to last season when we played Liverpool, when we won down, so if we scored 3 goals within 9 minutes after the 70th minute, all them people that left, if there was a game, you know, if fans were allowed into that point, they would have missed the 3 goals that would have won that game. We should have won that game. And I would say, you know, we can thank the lucky stars of VAR, because last week we all against it. This week we're for it in that goal. I was saying, to be fair, their second goal was a classic goal.
Ross, I'm gonna have to let you go because I think your connection's cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, it's fine. No, see you later, guys. Anyway,
thank you for joining us. All right, and Fee, if you want to give me a thumbs up, I'll add you on the screen. Hello, Fee. So thank you so much for joining us in the chat throughout the match. Good to get a chance to introduce you to all the other folks in the chat. So a frustrating match. What are your takeaways from it?
Yeah, well, I don't get to see the match, basically. I just follow you and all the others on the watch-alongs. I live in North London, so I actually don't get to go to many of the games either. I'm a disabled person, and it means that if I go to a match, I have to stay overnight somewhere, which is not always convenient. So that's why I've not been to many matches. My first match, I went by myself, which was in January 2020. I went to the Southampton game, and I chose that game because previously in the previous season we beat them 9-0. So I thought I'll go and watch them win. Go and watch Leicester win 9-0 again at King Power, but unfortunately we lost. So yeah, I love the watch-alongs, and I just thought this time, now my internet is a bit better, I'd try and get on and say hi to everybody.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, Fee. I guess the one thing I'll ask you about is people have been talking about a need for change on the team. You know, again, people are saying that we came out of a draw here that feels like a loss. If you're Brendan Rodgers, what do you change for the next match?
Well, I'd still keep Maddison off, but that's my choice.
Fair. And you'd probably leave Lookman on for him, or do you think maybe it's time to give Daka or
Yes.
Nacho a start?
Well, personally, I mean, we've bought a number of players this season, and I see a lot of players actually, sorry, not players, supporters complaining about you know, the fact that these new players are not doing very well. Well, they can't do very well if they're not actually picked to start the game or even playing the game. So I think people need to give these new players a chance to get in with the team and play a bit. And yes, I think Lookman is brilliant, basically. And
yeah,
I think the others
I feel like
need to be given a chance.
it feels like every game that he comes on, he makes a difference to the match. And I think we even saw here at the start of the game, he was one of our best players. So I'm definitely hoping to see him get some more game time.
Agreed.
All right. So before I let you go, do you have any parting thoughts you'd like to share?
And maybe one.
Oh, sorry.
To be able to even though we lost, the atmosphere at my first game was brilliant. Leicester.
Yeah, I apologize. I think you might have cut out a little bit in the middle there, but absolutely, like from what I heard there, that even though we don't necessarily get the best results, be it the loss against Southampton or the draw here, we stick together and we stick by our team.
Exactly, and thank you for all the supporters that have supported you and me today.
Yes,
because I enjoy being out. So if I can do that, I will.
All right. Thank you so much for joining, Fee. I'm going to let you go.
Thank you, Elijah.
All right. And then I did see one more person. I think it was LCFC fan. You asked if you could join after. So I have put the link back out. I will be wrapping up the watch along a little bit soon. So if you would like to get on, please click on that link that I just put into the chat. And I would be happy to have a couple more folks on. Yeah, a lot of people saying that they trust the ownership to do what's best for LCFC. It is one of those things that you can imagine that we know what the Sriwadhanapapa family expects from Leicester City. So if we aren't meeting those expectations, you can expect that even if they're not necessarily looking at replacing Rodgers, that they're going to be having conversations with him and making their expectations clear. Yeah, and there's people who are saying that it's just we're not where we are in the league right now. If you look back early season, we could have lost every game. The opposition knows what we're going to do before we do it. We need to mix things up, and we look like we only play one way. If we don't mix it up, we're going to have a big problem. Exactly, and like we were saying, and I think some of the Burnley fans were saying the same thing about Sean Dyche. It's a stubborn manager, and it's somebody who doesn't change their tactics unless they're really in a desperation state. But at the same time, it's a balance of making sure that if you change the manager, do we risk sort of derailing any unity that's left within the team? So like I said, I personally am not a fan of having Brendan Rodgers sacked. I don't think that it's time. I think if we're still in this kind of position by maybe Christmas, we can talk about it. But as it stands right now, a poor run of form this long is worrying. It's not time to look at removing the manager. And I don't think any of us are going to be saying that the owners are the problem. Let's be perfectly frank that if we didn't have the ownership that we had at this club, we would be, at best, I would say a mid-table championship team, and at worst, we could well be liquidated. This club definitely still has some of the best ownership in the league, and I will stand by that point for a very long time. But yeah, I don't think that replacing Rodgers is necessarily the solution to his being rather stubborn when it comes to his tactics. But I think it's just a matter of that the board needs to sit down with him and make expectations clear that what he's doing, he needs to have a team that is working, and what he is doing right now is not. I agree, it's been very dodgy this season, but I see it as growing pains. You can't expect one man to have placed all the new boys perfectly. It just won't work like that. That's fair. I think I've kind of been talking about growing pains as well when it comes to like the expectations that fans set and things like that. I see Leicester City at this moment as a team that should be placing between like 9th and 6th in the league. And if we're in there, then we are on track. I think we may have even been overperforming for the last couple of seasons, which is obviously spectacular. And I would love to see us finish 4th, 5th. But there's people who came in saying that, not making Champions League is unacceptable. We're trying to sustainably break into the top 4 of the Premier League. And that is not an easy feat. And the teams that try to do so too quickly often end up tripping over their own feet and falling back down the leagues. We saw that happen with Blackburn. We saw it happen with Newcastle. We saw it happen with Blackpool. We saw it happen with QPR. So definitely, I think one of the biggest things is we don't just need to have patience within a season, but we need to have patience year over year. And so long as we continue to see steady progress, then we're moving in the right direction. We may have had a bit of a bad start, but I'd say we're unlucky because we could have gotten a result against City and Brighton, and look at Liverpool last season, and Klopp is still there. So let's stick together and be a family. Yes, I think a lot of it has also been some poor luck with a lot of our results. Manchester City and Brighton, especially the Brighton game. If we had the luck our way that we didn't have, that game could have been 3-1 us. So yeah, let's not forget the fact that where was Manchester City at this point last season? I'm not saying that we are a Manchester City and we'll go 21-ish games unbeaten, but a team can end up mid-table, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're completely faltering and failing. Like I said, let's review things at Christmas, but I don't think that it's time for us to start saying that it's time for Rodgers to go. Much like John is saying here, it's too early to start talking about replacing Rodgers. That would be crazy. Let him turn it around. He has always been honest about the level of performance. He knows what we need to let him get it right. And yes, so whenever I'm hosting the watch-alongs, I'll do my best to put the link in throughout the game and pre-game, halftime, full-time. Love to have people on, so absolutely. If you aren't subscribed to us, subscribe just that way you don't miss any of our live shows, and we'd love to have you on. Yeah, a lot of people, I guess, it's also important to make sure that we're not just hiding behind history when we say things, but let's not forget what Brendan Rodgers has achieved at this club. He's achieved consistency in the Premier League that even Ranieri struggled to get. He's won us an FA Cup. He's won us a Charity Shield. He's gotten us back-to-back seasons in the Europa League. He's still being in the long-term success of the club, being successful. I completely messed up that sentence. He's still in the long-term timeline of the club being successful relative to those who came before him. So he's earned the ability to falter a little bit, so long as he can correct that. 2 away games coming up next. Yes, let me pull up the Leicester City schedule, and we can check exactly who we have next. So, yes, so we have Legia Warsaw coming up this Thursday in the Europa League, and then our next Premier League match is going to be against Palace, and then we're at home to United. But I'm hoping that that's referring to what I was just mentioning, that just we need to have some patience, both in terms of the long-term timeline of the club. We're still making our way up there, and we can't expect to just come in there and suddenly we're not a wealthy club like Chelsea or Manchester City. We can't immediately see that success. So we have to make sure that as we're moving up the leagues, we're doing it sustainably. And sometimes that will come with falterings as you try to boost your squad and you end up with players that may not mesh properly. You might end up with people that don't fit the tactics properly. You may end up with a season where just you're trying to find a new tactical set that can keep your team fresh, and you end up in a point like this. Football cannot go every team's way. But then conversely, of course, there are people who are saying that, you know, if Brendan doesn't get top 4, he should be sacked. And you're allowed to have that opinion. But similarly, let's not forget that he's won 2 trophies and gotten us back-to-back in the Europa League. And that's not... Because I guess the biggest thing that I want to avoid is I don't want to stand up divided like Arsenal fans were about Arsene Wenger. I don't want this to sort of divide the Leicester City community. So let's not hide the fact... Let's not hide behind the fact that he's won trophies as being a reason that he should survive no matter what the status of the club is. But let's not forget that this was last season and 2 seasons ago. It was recent. Andrew Griffith, except for the champion season, we were a mid-table side being happy with 9th. To get 2 fifth places and 2 trophies and great signings, there's no need to be harsh. So this is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of it being part of the long-term growth of the club. We went from a League One club to a championship club that was a mid-table championship club. We then became a team that was able to win the championship and start fighting relegation. We sort of became like that West Brom, Burnley, Norwich type character. Then we found stability there. We won the Premier League. We found mid-table in the Prem, and we're currently trying to find our way to get from that mid-table into those European spots consistently. So yeah, some people are saying to give Brendan Rodgers time. We'll win games for sure in the Premier League. Focus should be on Europa now. No excuses for Europa as our form is bad in the Premier League. That's another fair point. A lot of people say that whether it's going to be... whether you put your focus into the cups or into the league. And it could be that we're putting more focus into the cups because that maybe Brendan Rodgers sees that as being an easier avenue for us to get into the Champions League than to finish in the top 4. Because let's also not forget that while a lot of teams did financially suffer, the teams that didn't and had a lot of stability had incredible transfer windows and brought in vast amounts of talent for vast amounts of money. And it's difficult for us on our current budget to compete with that and expect to finish in 4th. Watch him in the years, and with Leicester, he will win more. Top 5 since he's been here, FA Cup and Charity Shield. Not bad for only 2.5 years. Alan Steyich. I'm not familiar with him. And yeah, people saying that we need to back Brendan. Not top 4, more like top 6 is our target. I see this period as a blip. We get new faces up to speed. We haven't had a solid back 4 working. Let's see where we are in the next 6 to 8 games. If I'm to be honest, I was less upset with our ball playing while attacking, but more so with how we were not good at the back. Every bounce of the ball in our penalty area seemed to fall to Burnley. We need to trust Rodgers. Jack, I'll be happy in the top 20. Defense is not good enough. Attack is good, but no point in having gold taps in a tin bath. To be honest, I'm gobsmacked that people are actually doubting Brendan. I literally thought 100% of the fan base were behind him. Best manager we've ever had. How are we going to get into Europe when we can't beat sides like Burnley at home? Oh, okay, so Stajcic is from the A-League. If we win games in Europa League, we'll start winning in the EPL, and this team should be better off. A lot of talent. And hello. I guess to sort of summarize all of those arguments being made, momentum is very, very important. I think one of the good things that we saw from this game was that we didn't give up. We scored an equalizer and then conceded again within 2 minutes. We could have easily fallen into a slump and let Burnley have another goal there. The fact that we fought back, we got a late equalizer. We did need a little help from the offside decision, but we held on to get the points. Let's try to start building upon that and turn that negative momentum into positive momentum. And Fee's also mentioning, let's not forget the players kick the ball and not Brendan Rodgers. David S., tough to take. I think we did play well, but didn't make enough of our chances. Defense was suspect, and as to Casper, I'm so over his poor distribution. It's your guess as to why he hasn't tried to fix it. Yeah, Casper's distribution has been a little bit detrimental because of how often we just try to play the ball around the back. Like, it's part of Brendan's playbook. But if you have a goalkeeper that can't do that, then you run the risk of giving a side that tries to play 4 players in upper midfield, trying to play the ball to 2 players up front like Burnley. It's incredibly risky. It's frustrating that we seem to be consistently rubbish in the first half. If we could just start games better. Yeah, I honestly don't know how to, because it's not like we get tactically different that much. And we make a substitution, but one substitution does not the entire team make. So it is so odd that we are, and this is a carryover from last season, that we're just such a second half team. But Foxes never quit. I feel like cups are different because people say Brendan Rodgers is a bit stubborn, but you saw in the Europa League and Carabao Cup that we rotated tactics, formation, and players. And now we see that Daka is great, and Nacho is great off the bench, and Lookman is now a starter. To be honest, I lost where I was going with this, but I hope it makes sense. I think it does. So you're saying that we mentioned the fact that Brendan Rodgers kind of comes in, day out with the same things in the Premier League. The Cup is sort of his place to tinker and experiment. And we have learned things from that. I guess where we then run into a little bit of frustrations with the fact that he doesn't seem to be applying what he's learning in the Cups into the Premier League. And that's where we end up struggling. Sean Winters, we're starting to be an Arsenal and Spurs who failed to make top 4. Not good enough. Get Conte or Zidane or Mourinho. Again, I don't want to start jumping on the get Brendan out train yet. And as well on that, like a manager like Conte is a consummate professional, fair. Zidane and Mourinho, we've seen them also falter with teams that don't suit well to his style of play. And we were mentioning that we get frustrated with the idea of playing from the back a lot. I don't think this fan base will accept Mourinho then in that case. The park the bus mentality is just not something that Leicester City plays for, and especially not for the players that we have up front. I can't see Madison being happy with a park the bus mentality at all. With all the talent that we have, we shouldn't be in this position. Is it the players or the manager not getting it right? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the fact that we haven't been able to get these new players to mesh in well. We're missing some players, key players due to injury. Your Johnny Evans, Wesley Fofana, James Justin. So we're forced to put these new players into the frying pan, or out of the frying pan and into the fire immediately without really giving them the chance to sort of soak in and get into being a part of this team. And as a result, we end up with kind of a disjointed team where we can't try new things because our new players aren't even really that familiar with the old things yet. We couldn't afford Conte. Anthony Beebe, all we do, Josh, is concede early, and the opponents where they sit back and we score and we try to say we're a second half team. Yeah, and Fee saying that it's the players and not the manager. John Tower saying, Sean, that's crazy. We need a manager who develops upcoming young players. Jose and Conte don't fit them all. That's also very fair. Let's not forget that we just spent 80, 90 million pounds on a new training facility to develop young youth players. Jose would sell half of them in order to buy one great player that he likes for the senior team who we might get 2 years out of tops. Yeah, talking about Sean's comment, yes, Zidane and Conte can win trophies with Milan and Madrid, but Leicester are a different breed. Leicester are different teams, not exactly title-challenging teams, but just regular European fighters. Yeah. I worry that we could end up seeing something like almost like an inverse. I can't believe I forgot. David Moyes. David Moyes was an excellent manager for a club like West Ham, Everton. Your teams that normally sit 10th to 6th, play well, challenge for Europe, but then you put him in Manchester United, especially trying to fill the boots of Sir Alex Ferguson, and he crashed and burned. So if we end up with a manager who's normally used to teams of that caliber, can they play to that kind of quality? I saw a video recently where they were saying that you can't compare Pep Guardiola to Sean Wilder. Sean Wilder? To Wilder, the Sheffield United manager. Because they're trying to do different things with different teams, and they're made for different kinds of football. So to take over a team that is sort of without a great manager, mid-table, with a great manager, European challenging, and expect him to be able to immediately get us into Europe, I think is setting them up for failure. Why are you up this late? You know what? Again, respect for you for being up this late. I think it just shows that we're all dedicated to our club. I'm not sure offhand which managers are available. I prefer attacking football as well, for sure. Bring back Nigel Pearson. Yes. Great example. Ancelotti at Everton. Nobody can say that Carlo Ancelotti is not a good manager. But he wasn't made for a team like Everton. And he very much struggled. He brought in players that are normally used to European challenging football and not for playing against Burnley when you need 3 points. And it's just a completely different mentality and not something that those managers are well set for. Okay, so with that, that was a whole lot of comments that came in. Thank you so much for all of them. At the end of the day, another tough result to take, but at least progress, better than the Brighton match. Onwards and upwards. We come back in on Thursday. Finally, again, just thank you to you all for tuning in, for getting your comments in, for joining us live. If you haven't yet, please drop us a like, a share, a subscribe. Make sure that you're getting into all the videos that we're posting. Make sure that you're tuning in for all the watch-alongs and that you're helping us get them into more people's hands. We got live shows that are coming up every single week, every single day of the week. So please make sure that you're joining us for that. And thank you all for joining us, and I will see you on the next watch-along.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.